The cold night air howled as the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, stood atop the Hokage monument, facing off against the monstrous nine-tailed fox. The Kyuubi. The great beast's crimson eyes burned with malice as it lashed out at the village, massive tails tearing through buildings with ease. The chaos below reflected in Minato's own heart as he prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice for the sake of the Leaf Village. Clutched in his arms was his newborn son, Naruto Uzumaki. The baby cried, unaware of the weight he was about to carry for the rest of his life. Beside Minato, Kushina Uzumaki, his wife, lay weak and pale, the strain of childbirth and the extraction of the Kyuubi from her body draining her life force. Yet, despite her condition, her fierce spirit had not diminished. Minato knew there was only one way to save the village. He had to seal the Kyuubi into his own son. His heart ached at the thought. Naruto was just a baby. He shouldn't have to bear such a burden. But there was no other way. The Kyuubi's power was too immense, too dangerous to be left unchecked. He bit his thumb, drawing blood, and pressed his hand to the ground, summoning jutsu. In an instant, a towering figure appeared behind him. The air grew cold, and a sense of death hung heavy over the battlefield. The Shinigami. The Grim Reaper itself loomed over Minato, an ethereal being with a mask covering its face and a deadly blade in hand. Its presence made the Kyuubi momentarily pause, its instincts screaming at it to retreat. The Shinigami's hollow eyes fixed on Minato. The fourth Hokage, with a heavy heart, began the ritual. As he chanted the sealing jutsu, the Shinigami's blade slowly extended towards the Kyuubi, preparing to sever its soul and bind it within Naruto. But then something unexpected happened. The Shinigami stopped, its hand hovering above Minato. It turned its gaze downward, focusing on the crying baby in his arms. A deep, rumbling voice echoed in Minato's mind. This child. I see his future. The village will betray him, cast him out. He will suffer. Yet his heart is pure, untouched by the malice of the world. A boy like him deserves more than this curse you are about to place upon him. Minato's eyes widened in shock. He had never heard of the Shinigami speaking during a summoning. This wasn't supposed to happen. His mind raced, wondering what this could mean for Naruto. What are you saying? He asked, his voice trembling with fear and uncertainty. The Shinigami's grip tightened on its blade. I will give him something more. A power beyond that of the Nine Tails. A guardian. A protector. Cerberus, the hound of the underworld, will watch over this boy. From behind the Shinigami, a monstrous creature emerged from the shadows. Cerberus, the legendary three-headed hound. Its enormous form dwarfed even the Kyuubi, its black fur bristling with power and its glowing red eyes locked onto Naruto. The beast radiated an aura of death and protection, as if it alone could shield Naruto from the cruelty of the world. Minato felt a strange sense of relief. Even though he didn't fully understand the gravity of what was happening, the Shinigami wasn't just sealing the Kyuubi into Naruto. It was giving Naruto something much more powerful. A protector that could rival the gods themselves. The Shinigami raised its blade once more. And this time, instead of just binding the Kyuubi, it intertwined the power of Cerberus with Naruto's very soul. The infant's cries quieted, as if sensing the power that now flowed through him. The Shinigami, its duty complete, vanished into the night, leaving Minato stunned. Minato collapsed to the ground, exhausted but alive, having avoided the full cost of the Reaper Death Seal. The Kyuubi's power now resided within Naruto. But so too did the strength of the fearsome Cerberus. Years passed. Naruto Uzumaki, now 5 years old, stood in the streets of Konoha. A familiar feeling of rejection swirling around him. The villagers avoided him, whispering behind his back. Some shot him dirty looks, while others outright glared at him. The rumors that he was a monster, the demon fox, incarnate, had spread like wildfire. Even at his young age, Naruto knew he was different. The adults treated him like a disease, and the other kids stayed far away. But despite the pain of isolation, Naruto didn't cry. He couldn't. Not anymore. Somewhere deep within him, there was a strength that he didn't fully understand. He always felt like someone, was watching over him, protecting him. He wandered into a secluded forest outside the village, his usual escape from the hostile glares. As he walked, he thought back to the strange dreams he'd been having. In them, he would often see a giant three-headed dog, standing by his side, protecting him from shadows that tried to attack him. Every time the dog appeared, the shadows would flee, terrified. Naruto sat down on a tree stump, kicking a pebble in frustration. "Why does everyone hate me?" he muttered to himself. "I didn't do anything wrong." Suddenly, a voice echoed in his mind. "You're stronger than they know. You have me." Naruto's heart skipped a beat. He jumped to his feet, looking around wildly. Who's there? From the shadows of the forest, Cerberus emerged. The massive three-headed hound, just like the one in his dreams, stood before him, towering over him with an imposing presence. But instead of fear, Naruto felt safe, protected. "I've always been here," the voice growled softly, the central head of Cerberus speaking directly to Naruto's mind. "I am your protector, given to you by the Shinigami itself. No harm will come to you as long as I am here." Naruto blinked in disbelief. "Why, you're real? I thought you were just a dream?" Cerberus's eyes glowed with a fierce intensity. "I am real, Naruto. I am your guardian. And together, we will make them see your true strength." Naruto swallowed hard, his small fists clenching. "But what can I do? Everyone hates me. I don't have any friends," the left head of Cerberus growled. "You are not weak. You carry the power of the 9 tails. But more importantly, you carry my power. The power of the underworld. The power to bring fear to those who would harm you. To crush those who would stand against you." Naruto's eyes widened. The warmth of Cerberus's presence washed over him, filling the hollow parts of his heart with confidence he'd never felt before. His lips curled into a small, determined smile. Then I won't be weak anymore. I'll show them. I'll make everyone see that I'm not a monster." Cerberus nodded approvingly. And with that, Naruto's journey to godhood truly began. Over the next few years, Naruto's strength grew rapidly. The power of Cerberus fused with his chakra, granting him abilities far beyond that of any ordinary child. By the time he was 8 years old, he had already mastered the basics of ninjutsu with ease. But it was his more unusual abilities that truly set him apart. Naruto could summon Cerberus at will, and the massive three-headed beast was nearly invincible in combat. Together, they trained in secret, honing their connection. Naruto found that he could draw on Cerberus's powers, using the hound's incredible strength, enhanced senses, and regenerative abilities. Even more terrifying was Naruto's ability to control fear itself, making those who opposed him tremble in terror, their courage crumbling under his gaze. The villagers, who once saw Naruto as a nuisance, began to fear him, though they still whispered in hushed tones about the monster living among them. Naruto, however, didn't care about their fear anymore. He had grown far beyond their petty gossip. As the years went on, Naruto's power continued to rise. He became a force of nature, feared and respected even by seasoned shinobi. And though he didn't fully understand the full extent of his godlike abilities yet, he knew one thing for certain. He would never let anyone hurt him or make him feel weak again. Cerberus's voice echoed in his mind once more, a constant reminder of the strength he carried. "You are destined for greatness, Naruto. You are more than the vessel of the 9 tails. You are the harbinger of death and protector of the innocent. No one will stand in your way." And Naruto believed it. At 8 years old, Naruto was already a living legend in his own right, though only a handful truly knew just how powerful he had become. He moved through the village streets with an eerie confidence, not the clumsy, loud child many expected him to be. The glares and whispers no longer stung like they once did. If anything, they felt insignificant now, like the buzzing of flies in the background. Deep inside, Naruto was waiting for something, anything, to give him a reason to show just how strong he really was. And soon, he would get his chance. One late afternoon, Naruto sat on the roof of his small apartment, legs swinging over the edge as he watched the sun dip below the horizon. He had spent the day training, perfecting new techniques with Cerberus in the forest. The bond between them had grown so strong that he could now summon one of the hound's heads to fight alongside him without needing to call the entire beast. It was a trick he had been practicing for weeks, a way to conserve chakra while still using Cerberus's power. But now, as the cool evening breeze ruffled his hair, a familiar feeling tugged at him. A sense of something wrong, something dark approaching. His heightened senses, a gift from Cerberus, tingled with the unmistakable presence of danger. Cerberus's deep voice echoed in his mind, as if sensing it too. Something comes. Naruto. A threat. Naruto frowned, standing up and scanning the village below. His eyes narrowed when he saw a small group of masked men moving through the alleys. Their stealth would have been impressive to most, but not to Naruto. He had long since mastered the art of sensing chakra signatures, and these men were clearly trying to hide theirs. Anbu? No. Their movements were too deliberate, too cautious. Naruto felt a surge of excitement. Finally, a real challenge. He leapt down from the roof, landing softly in the alley a few meters ahead of the men. He didn't need to wait long for them to come into view. There were 4 of them, all dressed in black, their faces hidden by masks. The air around them felt wrong, like a creeping shadow that didn't belong. Naruto crossed his arms, tilting his head to the side. What do you want? The men stopped, clearly not expecting to be spotted. One of them, the tallest, stepped forward. Naruto Uzumaki? His voice was cold, flat. Naruto grinned, his eyes flashing with a glint of mischief. That's me. What of it? The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he pulled a scroll from his belt, holding it out for Naruto to see. You're coming with us. Naruto's grin widened. And why would I do that? The man's eyes narrowed behind his mask. You've become a threat to the village. We've been ordered to contain you. Naruto laughed, the sound ringing out in the silent alley. A threat? Huh? You guys must really be out of the loop. I stopped caring about what the village thinks of me a long time ago. The men tensed, their hands moving to their weapons. The tallest one made a hand sign, and in an instant, they surrounded Naruto, forming a tight circle. We don't want to hurt you, the leader said, his voice betraying a hint of nervousness. But we will if we have to. Naruto closed his eyes for a moment, drawing in a deep breath. The air grew still, and for a split second, the village around them seemed to freeze in time. Then, without warning, a dark, ominous presence filled the alley. Cerberus. The ground trembled as the hulking, 3-headed beast appeared behind Naruto, its massive form casting a long shadow over the men. The air around Cerberus was thick with a suffocating aura of death, and the hound's red eyes glowed with a malevolent light. The men froze, their eyes widening in terror. One of them took a step back, his breath coming in quick, panicked gasps. What is that? Naruto didn't turn around. He didn't need to. The presence of Cerberus was all-encompassing, a living wall of power that made the very air around him hum with energy. You see, Naruto said, his voice calm and steady, I'm not the weak little kid you think I am. The leader of the group hesitated for only a moment before signaling his comrades. They rushed at Naruto from all sides, blades flashing in the dim light of the alley. But Naruto was faster. With a flick of his wrist, he sent a wave of chakra toward the nearest attacker, knocking him back into the wall with a sickening thud. Cerberus lunged at the second man, its left head snapping forward and clamping down on his arm, dragging him to the ground effortlessly. The third man tried to throw a kunai at Naruto, but the boy barely moved as Cerberus's right head swatted the weapon away with a snarl. The leader, seeing his men fall so quickly, gritted his teeth and launched himself at Naruto, a kunai aimed directly at the boy's throat. Naruto's eyes gleamed with anticipation. He ducked under the man's attack, grabbing his wrist and twisting it painfully, forcing him to drop the weapon. In one fluid motion, Naruto slammed the man to the ground, pinning him beneath his foot. Is that all? Naruto asked, his voice dangerously soft. The leader struggled, his eyes wild with panic as he stared up at the boy who was no longer just an ordinary child. What? What are you? Naruto looked down at him, a smirk playing on his lips. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. And you? You're nothing. He stepped back, letting the man scramble to his feet, The other attackers were either unconscious or too injured to fight. Cerberus loomed over them all, its heads growling softly. A warning of what would happen if they dared to continue. The leader staggered to his feet, clutching his arm where Naruto had twisted it. His eyes darted between Naruto and Cerberus. Pure fear etched across his face. You're a monster, Naruto shrugged. Maybe. But at least I'm not weak. Without another word, the leader turned and fled, his men limping after him. Naruto watched them go, a satisfied grin spreading across his face. He had barely broken a sweat. Cerberus, its job done, vanished back into the shadows. But Naruto could still feel the hound's presence lingering in the back of his mind. They will come for you again. Cerberus's voice rumbled in his thoughts. Naruto nodded, unfazed. Let them. I'm ready. As Naruto walked back through the village, the last remnants of sunlight fading from the sky, he couldn't help but feel a strange sense of exhilaration. He had finally shown a glimpse of his power. But it wasn't enough. Not yet. The village still didn't understand who he was, what he was. That would change soon enough. Naruto stopped in front of the Hokage monument, gazing up at the stone faces of the previous Hokages. His father's face stood proudly among them. But Naruto felt no connection to the man who had left him alone in this world. The village had taken everything from him. And now, they would pay for it. He clenched his fists, feeling the power of Cerberus surging through him. He had been given this gift for a reason. It was time to stop holding back. The village would soon learn the truth. Naruto Uzumaki was not a demon. He was a god. And gods did not bow to anyone. The night deepened, casting long shadows over the village of Konoha. Naruto stood in silence, his gaze fixed on the Hokage monument. The stone faces of the village's most revered leaders loomed over him. But in that moment, they seemed small, insignificant. He was no longer the weak child that had once looked up at those faces in awe, dreaming of becoming Hokage. He had surpassed that dream. He was something greater now. As he turned away, the moonlight caught the sharp gleam in his eyes, and he walked through the quiet streets, his footsteps echoing against the cobblestones. The air felt alive with energy, the power of Cerberus coursing through his veins like liquid fire. For the first time in his life, Naruto felt completely in control, untouchable. The fear, the hatred, the rejection from the villagers, it no longer mattered. He knew they would never accept him. But that didn't matter anymore. They would respect him. They would fear him. He stopped at the edge of the village, just before the vast forest that surrounded Konoha. This was where he came to train, far away from prying eyes and judgmental stares. Here, he could unleash the full extent of his abilities without holding back. Naruto took a deep breath and closed his eyes. Cerberus. The ground trembled slightly as the massive three-headed hound materialized before him. The beast stood tall, each of its heads regarding Naruto with a fierce, protective gaze. Though it was a terrifying creature of legend, to Naruto, it had become more than just a guardian. It was an extension of himself, a symbol of his newfound power and purpose. What now? Cerberus's central head rumbled, its deep voice vibrating in Naruto's mind. Naruto looked up at the dark, star-strewn sky, his eyes glinting with determination. I need to get stronger. The village will come after me again. They're afraid of what I'm becoming. He clenched his fists, feeling the raw power humming beneath his skin. I need to be ready for anything. Cerberus growled softly, its eyes glowing in the darkness. Your strength is already far beyond that of any mortal. But if it is more power you seek, there are still many abilities you have yet to fully master. Naruto nodded. He had already tapped into some of Cerberus's abilities. But he knew there was more, far more, that lay dormant within him. Over the past few years, he had discovered that Cerberus's power wasn't just about brute strength. It was about control. About commanding the forces of life and death themselves. He had barely scratched the surface of what he could do. Show me, Naruto said quietly, his voice steady. Cerberus's three heads nodded in unison. Very well. We shall begin. Without warning, the atmosphere around them shifted. The air grew colder, heavier, as if the very fabric of reality was bending to accommodate the presence of something far greater than this world. Naruto felt a familiar pull deep within him, The same sensation he experienced whenever he summoned Cerberus. But this time, it was different. It was more intense, more primal. Suddenly, the ground beneath Naruto's feet cracked and split, and from the fissures emerged shadowy tendrils of dark energy. They writhed and twisted around him. But Naruto wasn't afraid. He had felt this power before, the power of death, of the underworld itself. It was Cerberus's domain. Cerberus's central head spoke again, its voice low and commanding. You possess the ability to summon not just me, but the very forces of the underworld. You can bend the darkness to your will, command the souls of the fallen, and bring forth fear itself to your enemies. Naruto's eyes widened slightly, feeling the dark energy coil around him like a living thing. I can't control it? Yes. Cerberus's left head growled. You're more than just my master. You are a conduit for the power of the underworld. With enough focus, you can manipulate death itself. Naruto felt a thrill run through him. He had known Cerberus was powerful, but he hadn't realized the full extent of what that meant. The idea that he could control such a force. It was almost overwhelming. But Naruto didn't back down. He had spent his entire life fighting against the odds. And now that he had the power to change his fate, he wasn't going to stop. How'd I use it? Naruto asked, his voice steady despite the intensity of the moment. Cerberus's right head let out a soft growl. Focus. Feel the darkness around you. Command it. It is already a part of you. Naruto closed his eyes and reached out with his senses. He could feel the shadows swirling around him, the dark energy pulsing beneath the surface of the earth. It was cold, but not in a way that was uncomfortable. It was like standing on the edge of a great abyss, knowing that with a single step, he could fall, but also knowing that he had the power to control that fall. Slowly, he raised his hands, and the tendrils of shadow responded to his command, rising and twisting in the air like smoke. Naruto opened his eyes, watching as the darkness moved at his will. Good. Cerberus's central head said approvingly. Now, use it. Shape it. Naruto focused, and the tendrils began to coalesce, forming into a large, shadowy figure in front of him. It resembled a giant hound, much like Cerberus but made entirely of darkness. The creature's red eyes glowed faintly, and its presence radiated pure fear. Naruto stared at the shadowy beast he had created, feeling a sense of awe and pride. He had done this. He had summoned a creature of pure darkness from the underworld itself. But he knew this was only the beginning. Cerberus's voice rumbled in his mind again. This is but one of the many abilities at your disposal, Naruto. You can summon armies of shadows, bend the will of the dead, and strike fear into the hearts of those who oppose you. Your enemies will fall before you, trembling in terror. Naruto nodded, feeling a surge of excitement. He clenched his fists, the power of the underworld coursing through him like a raging river. I'll make them see. The village, the world, they'll all see what I'm capable of. But even as he said the words, a part of him felt a flicker of doubt. Was this truly what he wanted? To be feared? To be seen as a god? For so long, he had craved acceptance. But now that he had power, acceptance felt small compared to the potential before him. Still, the memories of the village's rejection were fresh. The pain they had caused him still lingered in his heart. They deserved to see his strength, to understand what they had tried to crush underfoot. He would make them see, but not just with fear. He would reshape the village. He would make Konoha, and the world, acknowledge him for the god he was becoming. Cerberus's voice broke into his thoughts. Do not lose sight of who you are, Naruto. You are not just a force of destruction. You are the protector, a guardian of those who are too weak to defend themselves. The power you wield is not meant for mindless domination. It is meant to bring balance. Naruto paused, Cerberus's words echoing in his mind. A protector. He had never thought of himself that way. Not after everything he had been through. But Cerberus was right. His power wasn't just about revenge. It was about something greater. He looked down at his hands, feeling the energy of the underworld flowing through him. I understand, Naruto whispered, his voice quiet but resolute. I'll protect those who deserve it. But I won't forgive those who try to stand in my way. Cerberus let out a low growl of approval. That is the way, Naruto. Use your power wisely. You are destined for greatness, But it is up to you to decide what form that greatness will take. Naruto stood in the quiet darkness of the forest. The shadowy hound he had summoned fading back into the ground. The power of Cerberus remained within him. A constant, pulsing presence. He was ready for whatever came next. Whether it was more enemies from the village or greater challenges from the world beyond. The village would soon learn that Naruto Uzumaki was no longer the outcast they had once scorned. He was the guardian of the underworld. And he was just getting started. The days that followed were quiet, almost unnervingly so. Naruto had expected immediate retaliation from the village after his encounter with the masked men. But nothing happened. No Anbu appeared at his door. No more attempts were made to capture him. Konoha remained eerily still. As if the village was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. Naruto didn't let his guard down, though. He continued to train, pushing his limits further each day, deepening his connection with Cerberus and honing the powers he had only just begun to understand. Every night, he ventured out into the forest, practicing with the shadows and perfecting his control over the forces of the underworld. The power felt intoxicating, like a vast, untapped well he could draw from endlessly. But even as he trained, a nagging thought kept tugging at the back of his mind. Was the village really afraid of him? Or were they planning something? He knew they couldn't ignore him forever. And if they weren't acting yet, it meant they were biding their time, preparing for something bigger. Naruto wasn't the only one who sensed it. Cerberus had grown more alert, his presence more pronounced in Naruto's mind. The great beast was constantly on edge, his senses heightened, as if anticipating an imminent threat. Something stirs, Cerberus had said one evening as Naruto summoned him once more. The village is not as silent as it seems. They are watching you, waiting for the right moment to strike. Naruto had nodded, expecting nothing less. Let them. I'm not afraid. But even as he spoke the words, a small part of him couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that had settled in his chest. A week passed before anything changed. It was a calm evening, the sun dipping below the horizon, casting the village in shades of orange and purple. Naruto was making his way through the village, his senses on alert as always, when he noticed something unusual. The streets were emptier than usual, and the air felt thick with tension. He turned a corner and found himself facing a group of people he hadn't seen in years. The villagers who had once tormented him as a child. They stood in the middle of the street, blocking his path, their eyes filled with the same contempt and fear they had shown him for so long. But now, there was something else in their gazes. An undercurrent of desperation. Naruto's jaw tightened as he stopped in his tracks. What do you want? One of the older men stepped forward, his face twisted with hatred. You think you can hide from us? We know what you've become. Monster. You think you can just walk around like you own the place. But we won't let you destroy our village. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He had no patience for this. I'm not here to destroy anything. Get out of my way. But the man didn't budge. His knuckles turned white as he clenched his fists. We've lived in fear of you for too long. It's time to put an end to this. You and that demon inside you should never have been allowed to live. Naruto felt the familiar spark of anger flare up inside him. But he kept it in check. These people had no idea what they were dealing with. And in a way, that made them pitiful. They were clinging to their hatred, to the old stories they had told themselves about him. But Naruto wasn't that powerless child anymore. He was far beyond them. Naruto took a step forward, his presence commanding. I'm only going to say this once. Move. The air around him seemed to darken as Cerberus stirred in the back of his mind. The beast's growl low and menacing. The villagers felt the shift, and a few of them took a step back, fear flashing in their eyes. But the leader, the old man, held his ground, stubborn and blind in his hatred. No, the man spat, his voice trembling. I won't let you take another step. Naruto sighed, shaking his head. You really don't understand. Do you? I don't need your permission. Without another word, Naruto's eyes glowed with a faint, ominous light as he called upon Cerberus's power. Shadows rippled around him, creeping across the ground like living things. The villagers gasped, their bravado quickly crumbling as they saw the darkness spreading, swallowing the street in its cold embrace. Naruto raised his hand, and the shadows rose with it, forming into the shape of a massive hound, much like the one he had summoned in the forest. The dark beast growled, its glowing red eyes fixating on the villagers. It was a warning. A sign that Naruto could crush them in an instant if he chose to. The old man fell to his knees, his face pale as he stared up at the shadowy hound. What are you?" Naruto's voice was calm. Steady. "I'm not a demon. I'm something much worse." He let the words hang in the air for a moment before lowering his hand, the shadows retreating and the hound dissipating into the ground. "Now get out of my way." The villagers scrambled to their feet, their fear palpable as they quickly scattered, leaving Naruto alone in the darkening street. He watched them go, his expression unreadable. Part of him felt satisfaction at their terror. They deserved it after everything they had done to him. But another part of him felt empty. As much as he had craved their fear, it didn't fill the void inside him like he thought it would. It didn't erase the years of loneliness, the pain of being ostracized and hated. And now that he had power, true power, it wasn't enough. He wasn't sure what was. Naruto shook his head, pushing those thoughts aside. He didn't have time to dwell on them. The villagers were the least of his concerns. He had felt something else in the air, something more dangerous. There was a greater threat lurking, one that was far more than the ordinary villagers. Cerberus's voice echoed in his mind once again, its tone laced with caution. "They are coming for you, Naruto. The true test begins soon." Naruto turned his gaze toward the Hokage's office in the distance. The looming shadow of the village's leadership. He knew Cerberus was right. The silence from the higher-ups had lasted too long. If the villagers had become this bold, it meant the leadership was preparing something big. And Naruto was ready for it. That night, Naruto sat in his apartment, his mind racing with thoughts of the future. He could feel the village's movements like pieces on a chessboard, shifting into position for whatever plan they had in store for him. He knew they feared him, but it was only a matter of time before they made their move. As he sat there, a soft knock echoed through the small room. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He wasn't expecting anyone. He stood up, walking toward the door cautiously, his senses on high alert. When he opened it, he was surprised to find Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, standing there, his expression unreadable. The old man's gaze was calm, but Naruto could see the weight of unspoken words behind his eyes. "Hokage," Naruto said, his voice neutral. Hiruzen nodded in greeting, though his tone was laced with gravity. "Naruto, may I come in?" Naruto hesitated for a moment before stepping aside, allowing the old man to enter. Hiruzen walked in slowly, his eyes scanning the small, sparsely furnished apartment. He sighed softly, as if the weight of the years had finally caught up to him. "You've grown strong," Hiruzen said, turning to face Naruto. "Stronger than I ever imagined." Naruto crossed his arms, watching the Hokage carefully. "Is that a problem?" Hiruzen shook his head. "No, Naruto. It's not a problem. But it is dangerous. Your power is immense, and the village is afraid of what you might do with it." Naruto's eyes darkened. "They're afraid because they don't understand me. They never have." The Hokage met Naruto's gaze, his expression softening slightly. "That may be true. But you have to understand, Naruto. The power you wield isn't something the village can ignore. They fear what they don't know. And right now, they don't know what you are." Naruto's fists clenched at his sides. "I'm not a monster." "I know," Hiruzen said quietly. "But you must prove it to them. Show them that you're not the enemy." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Why should I care what they think? They've hated me my whole life. Why should I bother to prove anything to them?" Hiruzen sighed, his shoulders slumping slightly. "Because, Naruto, power without control leads only to destruction. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to become the very thing they fear." Naruto stood silent for a moment, the weight of the Hokage's words settling on him like a heavy burden. He had spent so long fighting for acceptance, for recognition, but now that he had the power to demand it, it felt hollow. "I don't want to destroy the village," Naruto finally said, his voice low. "But I won't let them control me, either." Hiruzen nodded slowly, understanding in his eyes. "I won't ask you to submit to the village's fear. But I do ask that you be careful, Naruto. There are forces in play that even I cannot control. If you're not careful, They will come for you. Naruto looked at the old man. His eyes hard but thoughtful. Let them come. I'll be ready. Hiruzen sighed once more, as if sensing the inevitable storm on the horizon. I hope you are, Naruto. I truly hope you are. With that, the third Hokage turned and left, leaving Naruto standing alone in the dim light of his apartment, his thoughts swirling like a storm inside him. He knew the time was coming. The time when he would have to choose his path, when the village's fear would collide with his own power. And when that time came, Naruto knew there would be no turning back. The days passed quietly after Hiruzen's visit, but Naruto could feel the tension growing. It was like a thread being pulled tighter and tighter, threatening to snap. He continued his training, pushing his limits every day, becoming more attuned to the dark power he now possessed. Cerberus had grown even more restless. The beast rarely spoke, but its presence was always there, hovering in the back of Naruto's mind, a constant reminder of the immense power he held within him. Naruto knew that whatever was coming, it wouldn't be something small. The village's silence felt too calculated, too deliberate. One evening, while the moon hung low in the sky, Naruto stood atop one of Konoha's taller buildings, looking out over the village. His senses were sharper than ever, and he could feel the subtle movements below, people hurrying through the streets, whispers in the shadows, the Anbu watching from the rooftops. He knew they were preparing. Suddenly, a familiar presence flickered at the edge of his awareness. It was faint, but unmistakable. Naruto closed his eyes, focusing on the sensation. The Hokage's office. A meeting. Naruto felt a surge of curiosity. They were planning something that involved him. Without hesitation, he melted into the shadows, his body blending with the night as he moved silently toward the Hokage's tower. In the darkness, Naruto slipped past the guards and entered through an open window, his movements swift and silent. He crouched just above the Hokage's office, listening carefully. The voices were muffled, but he recognized them. Hiruzen, the clan leaders, the Jonin commanders. We cannot ignore the threat Naruto poses, one voice said. It was sharp, filled with a sense of urgency. Danzo. He's far too powerful now. If we let him grow unchecked, we risk losing control of the village. He has already demonstrated abilities far beyond any normal shinobi. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Danzo had always been a problem, a figure lurking in the shadows, manipulating events from behind the scenes. Naruto is still a child, Hiruzen replied, his voice weary. He's not an enemy. He has been through much, and we cannot turn against him because we fear what he might become. Danzo's voice turned colder. He's more than just a child now. We don't even fully understand the extent of his power. This entity that's attached to him, Cerberus, it's a force unlike anything we've ever seen. It's not just the 9 tails we're dealing with anymore. It's something far darker. Another voice spoke up. One Naruto didn't immediately recognize. What do you propose then? Danzo? We can't just eliminate him. The village would never forgive us. Danzo's response was calm, calculated. We contain him. We seal his powers before they become too great. If we wait any longer, it will be too late. The people already fear him. It wouldn't be difficult to sway public opinion. There was a heavy silence, and Naruto could feel the weight of the decision being made. He clenched his fists, anger bubbling up inside him. They wanted to seal him away, control him like they had always tried to do with the 9 tails. They couldn't see beyond their fear. Hiruzen's voice finally broke the silence. I won't allow that. Naruto deserves a chance to control his own fate. If we seal him now, we will only create the very monster we fear. Danzo's tone was unyielding. Your compassion blinds you. Hokage. We must act before it's too late. Naruto had heard enough. His body tensed, and in an instant, he vanished from his position, moving through the shadows back into the night. The conversation echoed in his mind, a storm of emotions raging inside him. They would never see him as anything but a threat. No matter how hard he fought, no matter what he did, they would always fear him. He returned to his apartment, the moonlight streaming through the small window as he stood in the center of the room, his heart pounding. Cerberus stirred inside him, the beast's presence more tangible than ever. They will never accept you. Naruto, The voice rumbled, its tone low and steady. They fear what they do not understand. And fear leads only to betrayal. Naruto's fists tightened, the weight of Cerberus's words sinking deep into him. He had spent so long trying to prove himself to the village, trying to earn their respect. But it had always been in vain. No matter how strong he became, they would always look at him with fear, not admiration. They'll never stop, will they? Naruto said quietly, his voice thick with frustration. No, Cerberus replied. And if you continue to seek their approval, it will destroy you. You're not their weapon. You're something far greater. Naruto closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. The words resonated with him, cutting through the confusion and anger. He wasn't just the vessel for the Nine Tails anymore. He was something beyond that. Something they could never control. I don't need them, Naruto whispered, more to himself than to Cerberus. I don't need their approval. Cerberus's growl of approval rumbled through his mind. Nope, you do not. You're power incarnate, Naruto. And power does not beg for permission. Naruto stood there in the darkness, the weight of the village's rejection settling over him like a heavy cloak. He had always wanted to be acknowledged, to be seen as a hero. But now, standing at the edge of this revelation, he realized that he didn't need their acknowledgement, he didn't need their praise. He would carve his own path. That night, Naruto made a decision. He wouldn't wait for the village to decide his fate. He would take control of it himself. If they wanted to fear him, then so be it. But they would never control him. The following day, Naruto walked through the village with a newfound sense of clarity. The whispers followed him as they always did. But he no longer cared. He could feel the eyes on him, the villagers watching his every move. But it didn't matter. He had made his choice. As he passed by the Hokage Tower, he caught sight of Danzo, standing at a distance, his cold, calculating gaze fixated on Naruto. The two locked eyes for a brief moment. And Naruto could see the thinly veiled contempt in Danzo's expression. It was clear now, Danzo was the enemy. Not just of Naruto, but of anyone who didn't fit into his vision of the village. Naruto smirked, his confidence unwavering. Let him plot. Naruto knew that whatever Danzo had planned, it wouldn't be enough to stop him. Because Naruto wasn't just a shinobi anymore. He was something more. Something far greater. And soon, the village would know exactly what that meant. The days that followed were tense. Though Naruto no longer felt the weight of the village's judgment as he once did, his resolve was unshakable now. He trained relentlessly, pushing his limits with Cerberus's guidance, his control over the beast growing stronger with each passing day. Though Naruto had always been fast and powerful for his age, the speed at which his abilities were developing now was extraordinary. He could feel the immense strength Cerberus granted him coursing through his veins, and his control over that power was sharpening. The beast's ferocity had become his own, but it was tempered by Naruto's human spirit, an unyielding determination to protect what he valued, even if the village wasn't part of that equation anymore. On the training field one evening, Naruto stood amidst the wreckage of his latest exercise. The ground was scorched, trees were uprooted, and deep gouges were carved into the earth, marks of his growing power. In the distance, the watching Anbu remained hidden, but Naruto could sense them. Still watching me like I'm some kind of wild animal, he muttered, a wry smile tugging at his lips. He closed his eyes and felt Cerberus stir within him. They are right to be cautious, Naruto, the beast growled, its voice a dark rumble in the back of his mind. But caution won't protect them forever. Naruto's smile widened slightly. No, it won't. But it's their problem, not mine. As the sun set, casting a warm, orange glow over the village, Naruto decided it was time. He couldn't keep hiding in the shadows, waiting for the village to make its move. If he wanted control over his own destiny, he had to take it. That night, Naruto returned to his apartment and sat cross-legged on the floor, closing his eyes. He reached deep into his mind, connecting with Cerberus. He felt the beast's overwhelming power surge within him, but it no longer threatened to consume him as it had in the beginning. I'm ready, Naruto thought. It's time to stop holding back. Cerberus growled in approval. Good. It's time for the world to see what you truly are. The next morning, the village awoke to an uneasy calm. The air was heavy, thick with the sensation that something monumental was about to happen. Even the skies seemed darker than usual, as if the very world sensed the impending storm. Naruto walked through the streets, his head held high, no longer avoiding the stares or the whispers. He could hear them more clearly now. Children being pulled away from him, merchants nervously glancing his way, shinobi exchanging quiet words as he passed. He no longer cared about their opinions. In the center of the village square, Naruto stopped. It was a place where the entire village could see him, where everyone would witness what came next. He took a deep breath, his eyes closing as he connected fully with Cerberus. The three-headed beast roared within him, its power flooding Naruto's entire being. The ground beneath him began to tremble, cracks forming in the stone as the sheer force of his chakra radiated outward like a shockwave. People stopped in their tracks, turning toward him with wide eyes. The whispers turned into gasps of fear, and panic began to ripple through the crowd. From the rooftops, the Anbu appeared, watching closely as the villagers began to retreat, unsure of what was happening. A few shinobi gathered near the edge of the square, their hands instinctively reaching for their weapons. Naruto opened his eyes, glowing with an unnatural crimson light, the mark of Cerberus's power fully awakened. His chakra flared, dark and ominous, swirling around him like a tempest. It was as if the very air around him had grown heavier, suffocating with the weight of his presence. "Listen to me." Naruto's voice boomed, echoing through the square. His voice was layered with Cerberus's growl, making it sound far deeper, far more dangerous than it had ever been before. The crowd froze, their eyes locked on him in terror. Even the Anbu remained still, unsure of what to do. They had never seen Naruto like this, never felt such raw, unrestrained power emanating from him. "For years, you've treated me like I'm nothing. You feared me, hated me, and pushed me aside." Naruto's gaze swept across the square, meeting the eyes of every villager who dared to look at him. "But I'm not the monster you think I am. I'm more than that now. You can't control me. You can't stop me. I don't need your approval anymore." The ground shook harder, as if the earth itself was reacting to his fury. Some villagers stumbled, backing away in fear, while others stood rooted to the spot, paralyzed by the overwhelming force of his chakra. "And if any of you think you can take me down, you're welcome to try." Naruto's voice was cold, his expression unreadable. "But you'll fail." Suddenly, a voice called out from the edge of the crowd. "That's enough, Naruto." Naruto turned his head slightly, recognizing the voice immediately. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the third Hokage, stepped forward from the gathered shinobi, his face lined with worry and sorrow. "Naruto," Hiruzen continued, his voice gentle but firm. "This isn't the way." "The way?" Naruto scoffed, his crimson eyes burning into Hiruzen's. "What would you know about the way? You've spent years watching me suffer, pretending to care, but you never did anything. You let them treat me like garbage, and now you want to tell me how I should act?" Hiruzen's eyes softened, but his stance remained steady. "I know you've been hurt, Naruto, and I know I failed you in many ways. But this path will only lead to more pain, for you and for the village." Naruto's lips twisted into a bitter smile. "Pain? You don't understand. I'm beyond pain now. I'm beyond all of it." Cerberus growled within him, the beast's power threatening to spill over completely. "Finish it," the beast urged. "They are nothing compared to you. Show them." For a brief moment, Naruto considered it. He could end it all right here. Crush the village under the weight of his power. Make them bow to him. No one could stop him, not even Hiruzen. But something held him back. A memory. Faint but still there. The warmth of a kind smile. The distant echo of a promise he had once made to himself, long before he had been consumed by power. To protect, not destroy. Naruto closed his eyes, taking a slow breath as he forced Cerberus's power back down, reining it in before it could overtake him completely. The ground stopped shaking, the oppressive weight of his chakras slowly dissipating. When he opened his eyes again, the crimson glow had faded, and for the first time in days, Naruto felt calm. "I'll protect myself from now on. And if any of you come after me, you'll regret it." With that, Naruto turned and walked away, leaving the stunned crowd and the third Hokage behind. He had chosen his path. He wouldn't seek their approval. But neither would he destroy them. Unless they gave him no other choice. And if they did, he would be ready. Because now, Naruto was no longer just a boy from the village. He was the wielder of Cerberus's power. And no one would stand in his way. The air was heavy with uncertainty as Naruto strode away from the square. The whispers of the villagers fading into silence behind him. He could feel their eyes boring into his back. A mix of fear and awe. With every step, he felt lighter, liberated from the weight of their expectations and judgments. As he walked through the streets, the sun began to set, casting long shadows that stretched across the cobblestone paths. Naruto had made a promise to himself that he would no longer hide. His heart raced with adrenaline as he imagined what lay ahead. The world was opening up before him, and he was determined to carve out his own destiny. Yet, uncertainty still lingered, gnawing at the edges of his confidence. Would he be able to control Cerberus's power? Would he become what they feared? Or could he turn that fear into respect? The questions swirled in his mind, and the weight of his choices pressed heavily on his shoulders. Over the next few days, the village buzzed with the aftermath of Naruto's declaration. The tension in Konoha was palpable, and the villagers were divided. Some whispered about the boy who had embraced the power of Cerberus, while others clung to their old fears. It wasn't long before Naruto's confrontation with the Hokage spread like wildfire, reaching even the farthest corners of the village. In the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen sat behind his desk, surrounded by the clan leaders and the remaining members of the council. Their expressions ranged from concern to outright fear. "His power is growing too fast," Danzo said, his tone icy. "We can't let him roam free like this. If we don't contain him now, we may never have another chance." Hiruzen rubbed his temples, feeling the weight of his responsibilities pressing down on him. "And what do you propose, Danzo? Another seal? Another attempt to bind him? We tried that with the Nine Tails, and it only created more conflict. He has the strength to take down our defenses." A voice chimed in from the corner. "We need to establish a plan. A means to either contain him or eliminate the threat he poses." "Eliminate?" Hiruzen's voice rose, filled with frustration. "Naruto is not an enemy. He's still a child trying to understand his powers. We cannot treat him like a weapon." Danzo leaned forward, his gaze piercing. "If you truly believe that, you're a fool, Hiruzen. That boy is a force of nature. If we don't act, we risk losing everything we've built." The tension in the room crackled as the clan leaders exchanged uneasy glances. Hiruzen sensed the fear in their hearts, the fear that had governed Konoha for years. And now, it was centered on one boy. Meanwhile, Naruto found solace in training, pushing himself harder than ever. He spent hours honing his skills, working tirelessly to maintain control over Cerberus's power. The training grounds became his sanctuary, a place where he could unleash his frustration and channel his energy without fear of judgment. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with vibrant hues of orange and pink, Naruto felt a shift in the air. The energy around him pulsed, and he sensed a familiar presence approaching. As he turned, he saw Sakura and Sasuke walking toward him, their expressions unreadable. Naruto had almost forgotten about them, consumed by his own struggles and transformation. "Naruto," Sakura called out, hesitating just outside the training grounds. "We need to talk." Naruto crossed his arms, uncertainty washing over him. "Talk? About what? You've got nothing to say that I want to hear." Sasuke stepped forward, his dark eyes scrutinizing Naruto. "This isn't just about you anymore. We're worried about the village. People are afraid, and fear leads to chaos." "Exactly," Sakura added, her voice softer now. "We know you're stronger, but you can't ignore how they feel. If you push too hard, you'll only make things worse." Naruto's expression hardened. "They've made their choice. They pushed me away for years. And now that I'm finally standing up for myself, they're scared. That's not my problem. But it should be." Sasuke shot back, frustration etched on his face. "You're not just some rogue shinobi. You're a part of Konoha. And whether you like it or not, you have responsibilities." "Responsibilities?" Naruto echoed, incredulous. "What responsibilities? To be a punching bag? To be their scapegoat?" No thanks. Sakura took a step closer. Her eyes pleading. We want to help you, Naruto. But you need to understand that if you continue down this path, you'll end up alone. No one will stand by you if you keep pushing them away. The tension in the air thickened as Naruto processed their words. Deep down, he understood their concerns. He wanted to protect his friends, to shield them from the backlash of his power. But how could he do that without being true to himself? I don't need anyone, he finally replied, his voice low and strained. I've learned that the hard way. Sasuke's brow furrowed, and he stepped closer, lowering his voice. You don't have to carry this burden alone. We're your friends, and we care about you. But if you keep isolating yourself, you'll end up like Danzo, fighting against the world instead of fighting for it. Naruto felt a flicker of something in his chest. Was it hope? Or was it anger? It was hard to tell. But he knew one thing. He didn't want to become like Danzo. I'm not going to fight for their acceptance. I'm going to fight for my own future. But there can be a balance, Sakura interjected, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. You can fight for yourself while still being part of the village. We want to help you find that balance. Naruto hesitated, feeling the weight of their words settle over him. He had spent so long trying to prove himself, trying to earn the respect of others. But maybe they were right. Maybe he could have both. His own power and the bonds he cherished. You really think they'd accept me? Even with all this power? He asked quietly, his voice almost a whisper. Sasuke nodded, his expression softening. You're still the same Naruto. You just have more strength now. Show them who you really are. Naruto's heart raced as he contemplated their words. Perhaps it was time to stop running and start confronting the fears and doubts that plagued him, not just in himself, but within the village as well. I'll think about it, he finally said, a small flicker of hope igniting within him. Sakura smiled, relief washing over her features. That's all we ask. We believe in you, Naruto. Just remember, you're not alone. As night fell, Naruto returned home, the weight of the day lingering in his thoughts. He felt a strange sense of calm as he prepared for bed, knowing he had friends who cared about him. Yet, he still felt the looming shadow of Danzo and the council's plotting hanging over Konoha. But something inside him had shifted. He wasn't just a vessel for Cerberus's power, he was Naruto Uzumaki, a boy determined to carve his own path. With that determination solidifying in his heart, Naruto closed his eyes, embracing the night. He would face whatever came next, not just as a monster, but as the ninja he had always aspired to be. Someone who fought not just for himself, but for those he cared about. And if the village chose to turn against him, they would discover the true meaning of fear. For the next time they faced Naruto Uzumaki, they wouldn't see just a boy with immense power. They would see a force of nature. And he was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. As dawn broke over Konoha, casting a warm glow across the village, Naruto awoke with a newfound sense of purpose. The events of the previous day played through his mind. His confrontation with the villagers, his conversation with Sakura and Sasuke, and the weight of Cerberus's power coursing through him. He could feel the shift in himself, a balance between the ferocity of the beast and the humanity within him. With renewed determination, Naruto began his morning routine. He trained relentlessly, pushing his physical limits while also focusing on his chakra control. Today, he would attempt to deepen his connection with Cerberus, exploring the depths of its power without succumbing to it. Are you ready? The voice of Cerberus rumbled inside his mind, deep and echoing like distant thunder. Always, Naruto replied, feeling the energy surge within him. Let's do this. In the training ground, he focused on channeling Cerberus's energy into his attacks. As he threw a punch, dark chakra flared around his fist, the air shimmering with the raw force of his intent. He could see the impact as the ground shattered beneath him, sending rocks flying. Each strike felt more powerful than the last, and he reveled in the sensation of strength coursing through him. Good, Cerberus praised, its voice a low growl. You're beginning to understand the depths of my power. But remember, it's not just about strength. It's about control. Naruto nodded, determination blazing in his eyes. I get it. I won't lose myself. Hours passed as he trained, sweat pouring down his brow. The sun was high in the sky when he finally collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily but exhilarated. He had pushed himself harder than ever, and though exhaustion tugged at him, he felt more alive than he had in a long time. Later that afternoon, as Naruto strolled through the village, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to happen. The air was charged with tension, and he could sense the whispers behind him. The villagers were still wary, their glances filled with fear and uncertainty. But he wouldn't let that deter him. He was determined to show them he was more than just a monster. As he rounded a corner, he spotted a group of children playing, their laughter ringing through the air like a melody. A pang of nostalgia hit him. He remembered a time when he had longed for friendships like theirs, when he had wished for acceptance. Suddenly, the laughter stopped. The children turned to him, wide-eyed, their faces a mixture of awe and fear. Naruto swallowed hard, feeling the weight of their gaze. He had always wanted to be a hero in their eyes, not a figure of dread. "Hey, kids," he called out, forcing a smile. "Want to see something cool?" The children exchanged glances, hesitant, but curiosity won over fear, and they nodded cautiously. Naruto felt a surge of hope as he knelt down, preparing to show them a small display of his power, something harmless, yet impressive. He focused, channeling Cerberus's chakra into a small sphere of dark energy in his palm. The sphere crackled with power, and as he opened his hand, it transformed into a harmless flame. It danced between his fingers, illuminating his face and casting flickering shadows on the ground. The children gasped, their fear dissipating as wonder took over. Naruto smiled wider, enjoying their reactions. "See? Not so scary, right?" he said, tossing the flame into the air. It burst into colorful sparks, showering the ground in brilliant hues. The kids erupted in laughter, clapping their hands in delight. Just then, a shadow loomed over Naruto, and he turned to see Ino approaching, her expression one of concern mixed with surprise. "What are you doing, Naruto?" she asked, her brows furrowed. "You need to be careful with that kind of power." Naruto straightened up, the flame dissipating as he shook his head. "I'm just showing them I'm not a monster, Ino. I want them to see I can use this power for good." Ino crossed her arms, her gaze sharp. "They don't understand yet. You have to be careful how you use it. You might inspire them, or you might scare them more. I get that. But I can't hide forever. I want to be someone they look up to, not someone they fear," he replied earnestly, the determination in his voice unwavering. Before Ino could respond, a commotion broke out at the edge of the village. Naruto turned, his senses heightened. He could hear raised voices and see a group of shinobi gathering, their expressions tense. "What's happening?" he asked, moving closer to the crowd with Ino following behind. As they approached, Naruto spotted a familiar figure at the center, a villager pointing furiously at a nearby building. His heart sank as he heard snippets of conversation. He was using dark chakra. "We can't let him run wild." Naruto's pulse quickened. They were talking about him. "You think they're talking about me?" he asked, his voice low. Ino nodded, her expression grim. "It looks like someone saw you training earlier and reported it. They're scared." Suddenly, the crowd parted, and Hiruzen stepped forward, his brow furrowed in concern. He was flanked by several Anbu, their faces masked but their presence undeniably intimidating. "Naruto," Hiruzen called, his voice steady yet filled with an undercurrent of worry. "We need to talk." Naruto felt the weight of their gazes, the fear and distrust palpable in the air. He took a deep breath, steeling himself. "What's the problem?" Hiruzen approached him slowly, concern etched on his face. "There's been a report about dark chakra being used near the village. People are frightened, and they believe it's connected to you." Naruto's jaw clenched, the frustration bubbling to the surface. "I was training. I'm not a monster. Why can't they see that? They don't understand what you've become," Hiruzen said, his tone soothing. "You need to show them that you're in control of your power." The crowd murmured, uncertainty and fear swirling around them. Naruto looked at the villagers, their expressions a mixture of fear and judgment. It stung, igniting a fire within him. "You want me to show them? Fine. But I'm not going to hide who I am," Naruto shouted, the words escaping before he could hold them back. The intensity in his voice caught everyone's attention. "Naruto!" Ino called out, reaching for him. But he shrugged her off. His gaze locked on the villagers. "I'm done being afraid. If they want to see my power, I'll show them. I won't be pushed down anymore." Before Hiruzen could respond, Naruto summoned Cerberus's energy. Dark chakra swirled around him, forming a massive shadowy figure behind him. 3 heads snarling, each representing a different aspect of his newfound strength. The crowd gasped, stepping back instinctively as the beast towered over Naruto. A majestic yet terrifying sight. "This is who I am," Naruto declared, his voice rising above the gasps. "I am not your enemy. I am a protector. And if you think I'm a monster, then you will see what a monster can truly do." In that moment, a silence fell over the crowd. Some villagers took a step back, fear etched on their faces, while others looked on with awe. Hiruzen's expression hardened, concern flickering in his eyes as he realized the gravity of the situation. "Naruto," he warned, his voice steady but firm. "Control it. You can't let the darkness take over." But Naruto was lost in the moment, consumed by the power surging through him. He felt Cerberus roar in approval. And for a moment, he was invincible. "You want to see my power? I'll show you," he shouted, launching himself into the air, surrounded by dark chakra. He felt invincible, his heart racing as the world below shrank. As he soared above Konoha, the thrill of power surged through him. The village stretched out beneath him, a panorama of familiarity and fear. But as he hovered there, the reality of what he was doing began to sink in. The looks on the villagers' faces, fear, confusion, awe, struck him harder than he expected. He was becoming what they feared most. With a sudden rush of clarity, Naruto called upon Cerberus's power, feeling the energy swell within him. "Enough!" he shouted, forcing the dark chakra back down, the heads of Cerberus receding as he returned to the ground. The villagers watched in stunned silence as the dark energy dissipated, revealing Naruto standing tall, his expression one of fierce determination. He stepped forward, heart pounding as he faced the crowd. "I'm not a monster. I want to protect you. But you have to trust me." Hiruzen approached, his expression softening. "You have to show them, Naruto. You can't just demand their trust." Naruto nodded, breathing deeply as he regained control. "I know. But I won't back down. I will earn their trust, even if it takes everything I have." The crowd remained silent, their expressions uncertain. But amidst the tension, Naruto felt a flicker of hope. He was ready to fight for his place, not just in the village but in their hearts. Days passed, and Naruto worked tirelessly to earn the villagers' trust. He trained openly, demonstrating his abilities without fear, showcasing his control over Cerberus's power. He participated in missions, always returning to help those in need, slowly chipping away at the fear that had taken root. Sakura and Sasuke stood by his side, unwavering in their support. They rallied others, encouraging the villagers to see Naruto for who he truly was, a protector, not a monster. It was a hard battle, filled with setbacks and moments of doubt. But Naruto persevered, proving himself time and again. He learned to temper his powers, mastering the balance between the beast within and the hero he aspired to be. Then one day, a pivotal moment arrived. An enemy had infiltrated Konoha, a rogue ninja seeking to exploit the villagers' fears. The alarm rang through the village, and chaos erupted. Naruto sensed the turmoil, and he sprang into action. "Let's go!" he shouted to Sakura and Sasuke, determination burning in his eyes. "We need to protect everyone." As they raced toward the source of the commotion, Naruto felt the familiar presence of Cerberus stirring within him, eager to be unleashed. "This is it, Cerberus. Let's show them what we can do." The trio arrived at the center of the chaos, where the rogue ninja had taken hostages, his dark chakra pulsating ominously. Naruto stepped forward, feeling the energy of the villagers around him, their fear transforming into resolve as they recognized their protector. "You won't get away with this," Naruto shouted, his voice steady and fierce. The rogue ninja sneered, his dark chakra flaring. "You think you can stop me? You're just a child playing with power." Naruto felt the anger rising within him but forced himself to remain calm. I'm not just a child. I'm the one who will protect this village. With a swift motion, he summoned Cerberus's energy, the three-headed shadow emerging behind him. The villagers gasped. But instead of fear, Naruto felt their confidence growing. This is who I am, he roared, launching forward. And I will show you the true meaning of strength. The battle began in a flurry of movement. Naruto darted toward the rogue ninja, unleashing a series of powerful strikes, channeling Cerberus's energy into each attack. The rogue fought back, but Naruto's resolve fueled him, pushing him beyond his limits. You're nothing, the rogue taunted, attempting to overwhelm Naruto with dark jutsu. But with each blow, Naruto felt the villagers' faith in him bolstering his strength. I won't let you hurt anyone, he shouted, landing a decisive blow that sent the rogue crashing to the ground. As the dust settled, Naruto stood tall, breathing heavily but victorious. He turned to the villagers. Their expressions transformed. No longer did he see fear. He saw admiration, hope, and respect. You see? He said, looking at them with a fierce determination. I can control this power. I'm here to protect you. The villagers erupted into cheers, their fear replaced by gratitude. They rushed forward, surrounding Naruto, their voices mingling in a chorus of acceptance. Thank you, Naruto, one child shouted. You're our hero. In that moment, the weight on Naruto's shoulders lifted. He had proven himself, not just to the villagers but to himself. He had embraced his powers, his identity, and he would continue to fight for a brighter future. As he looked around, he felt the warmth of friendship surround him. Sakura, Sasuke, and the villagers standing together, united in their resolve. This is just the beginning, he whispered to himself, determination igniting within him. I will protect this village and everyone in it, no matter what. With that promise echoing in his heart, Naruto Uzumaki knew he was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, not just as a wielder of immense power, but as a true protector of Konoha. As the cheers of the villagers echoed in his ears, Naruto felt a surge of warmth and pride coursing through him. He had stepped onto the path of acceptance, and for the first time, he felt like he truly belonged. The rush of adrenaline from the battle still pulsed through him, but it was the sense of camaraderie that truly fueled his spirit. Naruto. That was amazing, Sakura exclaimed, rushing to his side, her eyes sparkling with excitement. You really showed that guy. Yeah. You were incredible, Sasuke added, crossing his arms but unable to hide the faintest hint of a smirk. Guess all that training paid off. Naruto chuckled, his cheeks heating slightly from their praise. Thanks, guys. But it wasn't just me. We did this together. Just then, the villagers began to gather around him, their faces bright with admiration. The rogue ninja had been apprehended, his dark chakra neutralized. Konoha was safe once again, and the people were eager to express their gratitude. Children rushed forward, their laughter ringing out like music, while the adults nodded in approval, eyes shining with newfound respect. Naruto. A young girl called out, her hair tied into pigtails. Can you teach me how to do what you did? Yeah. I want to be strong like you. Another child chimed in, his eyes wide with excitement. Feeling the warmth of their hopes, Naruto's heart swelled. Of course. I'll teach you all. We can train together. Sakura and Sasuke exchanged amused glances, but Naruto was oblivious to their teasing expressions. The moment was too precious for him to think about anything else. He knelt down to the children's level, his voice earnest. But remember, it's not just about strength. It's about protecting those you care about. As the crowd began to disperse, Hiruzen stepped forward, his expression solemn yet proud. You did well, Naruto. I knew you could handle this, but you exceeded my expectations. Naruto scratched the back of his head, feeling bashful. Thanks, Hokage-sama. I just wanted to show everyone I could be a hero. And you have, Hiruzen replied, his eyes twinkling. But remember, being a hero also means understanding your responsibilities. Naruto nodded, taking the elder's words to heart. The weight of his powers pressed down on him, but he was beginning to see that with great strength came great responsibility. Days turned into weeks, And Naruto continued his training, delving deeper into the powers bestowed upon him by Cerberus. He learned to control the dark chakra more precisely, balancing its ferocity with his own will. It was a delicate dance, one that required focus and discipline, but each day brought new progress. Sakura and Sasuke trained alongside him, and they became an unstoppable team. The trio took on missions that required not just strength but also strategy, and Naruto found that his bond with his friends deepened as they faced challenges together. During one particularly intense training session, they decided to challenge each other to a sparring match. "I bet I can take you both down," Naruto declared, his confidence soaring. Sasuke smirked, his eyes narrowing. "We'll see about that. You got power, but I've got speed. And I have my healing abilities." Sakura chimed in, grinning. "You'll never take me down." They circled each other, their eyes locked in determination. With a sudden burst, Naruto charged forward, channeling Cerberus's energy. Dark chakra enveloped him, enhancing his speed as he launched a series of rapid punches and kicks. Sasuke dodged gracefully, countering with his own swift strikes, while Sakura moved in to support her teammates. The air crackled with energy as they exchanged blows, their laughter ringing through the training ground. Naruto felt invigorated, relishing the thrill of battle and the camaraderie that accompanied it. They were a family, united by their struggles and triumphs. Suddenly, as he landed a punch on Sasuke, Naruto felt a flicker of something, a hint of danger. The air around him shifted. An instinct kicked in. He pivoted just in time to see a shuriken flying toward him. With a swift motion, he summoned Cerberus, the three-headed beast emerging protectively behind him. The shuriken struck the barrier of dark energy, clattering harmlessly to the ground. "What the?" Sasuke exclaimed, his eyes wide. "That wasn't me," Naruto replied, scanning their surroundings. "Someone's attacking." The three of them instantly went on high alert, their senses heightened. From the tree line, a figure emerged, cloaked in shadows, their intentions unclear. "You've grown strong, Naruto Uzumaki," the figure hissed, their voice dripping with malice. "But you cannot hide from the darkness." Naruto's heart raced as he recognized the aura, the rogue ninja from before, but now accompanied by others. They had regrouped, seeking revenge. "You think you can scare me?" Naruto shouted, his voice unwavering. "I'm not afraid of you." The rogue ninja smirked, raising his hands as dark chakra swirled around him. "Then let's see how you handle this." With a swift motion, he unleashed a wave of dark energy. But Naruto was ready. He summoned Cerberus fully, the beast growling menacingly as it protected Naruto and his friends from the oncoming attack. "Now, Cerberus," Naruto commanded, feeling the bond between them strengthen. The beast lunged forward, its three heads unleashing a torrent of dark flames that clashed with the rogue's energy. The explosion rocked the training ground, sending shockwaves through the air. As the dust settled, Naruto stood tall, eyes fierce with determination. "We won't back down. We'll protect our village," the rogue ninja snarled, frustration etched on his face as he assessed Naruto's growing strength. "This isn't over, Uzumaki. I'll be back." With that, he retreated into the shadows, vanishing from sight. The remaining rogue ninjas followed suit, leaving Naruto and his friends standing amidst the remnants of the battle. Sasuke sighed, relief washing over him. "That was close. We need to be more vigilant." "Yeah," Sakura agreed, her brow furrowed with concern. "They won't give up easily." Naruto nodded, determination burning in his chest. "I won't let them hurt anyone. I'll keep training, keep getting stronger. We have to be ready." That evening, as Naruto sat on the roof of his home, gazing up at the stars, he reflected on the day's events. The moon shone brightly, illuminating the village below. He could feel Cerberus's presence, the comforting energy swirling within him. "What do you think?" he asked quietly, wondering if the beast could sense his thoughts. "You are on the right path, young one," Cerberus replied, its voice resonating in his mind. "But remember, strength alone does not make a hero. You must learn to wield it wisely." Naruto nodded, absorbing the wisdom. "I will. I promise." As the night deepened, He felt a sense of peace settling over him. He was no longer just a boy burdened by loneliness and fear. He was becoming a protector. A hero. And with the power of Cerberus at his side, he knew he could face whatever challenges awaited him. He would fight for Konoha, for his friends, and for the acceptance he had long sought. The future was uncertain, but Naruto was ready to embrace it, one step at a time. With his heart set on the path ahead, he fell into a deep, dreamless sleep, ready to face whatever challenges awaited him in the days to come. As dawn broke over Konoha, casting golden rays across the rooftops, Naruto awoke with renewed vigor. He stretched, feeling the familiar warmth of Cerberus within him, a comforting presence that reassured him of his strength and purpose. Today was a new day, filled with possibilities and challenges, and he was determined to face them head-on. "Let's get to training," Naruto said, his enthusiasm bubbling over as he jumped out of bed. He dressed quickly, the promise of another day filled with hard work and progress igniting his spirit. After a quick breakfast, he made his way to the training grounds where he often trained with Sakura and Sasuke. The sun was rising higher, illuminating the fields and casting long shadows of the trees swaying gently in the breeze. When he arrived, he found Sakura already there, practicing her medical ninjutsu. Her hands moved swiftly as she performed the necessary hand signs, and Naruto admired her focus. "Hey, Sakura," he called out, waving as he approached. "Ready to train?" Sakura looked up, her expression brightening. "Absolutely. I'm ready to see how strong you've gotten." Just then, Sasuke appeared, walking towards them with his usual calm demeanor. "You're loud in the morning, as always," he teased, a smirk playing at the corners of his mouth. "Are you sure you're ready for a real challenge?" "I'm always ready," Naruto replied confidently. "Let's make today count." They began their training session with a series of sparring matches, testing their techniques and abilities. Naruto summoned Cerberus's power to enhance his strength, while Sakura used her medical ninjutsu to heal any injuries they sustained during their practice. Sasuke showcased his speed and Sharingan, making it a fierce contest. The sun climbed higher in the sky, and the sounds of their training echoed across the grounds. Naruto felt exhilarated, pushing himself to new limits with each blow exchange. He was no longer just fighting to prove himself. He was fighting to protect his friends and his village. After several hours of rigorous training, they paused to catch their breath. They sat under a tree, the shade providing a momentary respite from the heat. "I can't believe how much we've improved," Sakura said, wiping the sweat from her brow. "You're incredible, Naruto. You really harness Cerberus's power well." "Thanks." Naruto grinned, feeling proud of their progress. "But I still have a lot to learn. There's so much more I want to be able to do." Sasuke nodded in agreement. "If we're going to be prepared for the threats coming our way, we need to keep training harder. They won't stop just because you've shown your strength once." As they discussed their training, Naruto's mind wandered back to the rogue ninja's attack. "What do you think they want?" he asked, concern creeping into his voice. "Do you think they'll come back?" "They probably want revenge for what happened," Sasuke replied, his expression serious. "But they'll think twice about coming after us again. We're stronger now," Sakura added. "If they do come back, we'll be ready. We'll face them together, just like we always do." "Together," Naruto echoed, the word resonating with him. The bond they shared was unbreakable, and he felt empowered by it. Later that day, as they prepared to wrap up their training, a familiar figure approached them from a distance. It was Iruka, Naruto's former teacher, who waved as he walked over. "Hey, you three. You've been working hard. I see," Iruka said, a proud smile on his face. Naruto grinned. "We're training to protect the village, just like you taught us." Iruka nodded, his expression turning serious. "That's great. But I wanted to remind you all that the Chunin exams are coming up soon. It's an important opportunity for all of you." Naruto's eyes sparkled with excitement. "The Chunin exams? I can't wait. I'll show everyone what I'm made of. Remember to focus on teamwork as well as individual strength," Iruka advised, his gaze shifting to Sasuke and Sakura. "This is your chance to prove yourselves. But you'll need to rely on each other." "We will," Sakura assured him, determination evident in her eyes. As they bid farewell to Iruka, Naruto felt a surge of energy. The upcoming Chunin exams would be the perfect stage for him to demonstrate how far he had come. He envisioned himself standing tall, victorious, and finally recognized by everyone in Konoha. That evening, as Naruto lay in bed, he couldn't shake the excitement about the Chunin exams. His mind raced with thoughts of competition, challenges, and the thrill of battle. He envisioned himself fighting alongside Sasuke and Sakura, showcasing their growth as a team. But beneath the excitement lay a flicker of anxiety. What if I mess up? He thought, rolling onto his side. What if I let everyone down? Cerberus stirred within him, its voice resonating softly in his mind. Fear is a natural response, Naruto. But remember, strength comes not just from power, but from your heart and your will to protect. Naruto closed his eyes, letting the beast's words wash over him. You're right. I can't let fear control me. I have to believe in myself and in my friends. With that resolve, he drifted off to sleep, his dreams filled with visions of battles and victories. The following days flew by in a whirlwind of training and preparation. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke intensified their sessions, honing their skills and working on strategies for the upcoming exams. The village buzzed with anticipation as other teams prepared, and the atmosphere was electric with excitement. On the day of the Chunin exams, Naruto stood in front of the Hokage Tower, flanked by his friends. The sun was bright, and the energy around them felt charged with possibility. Are you ready? Sakura asked, adjusting her headband, her eyes shining with determination. Always. Naruto replied, his heart racing with anticipation. Sasuke remained stoic but nodded, the focus in his eyes indicating that he was ready to prove himself as well. As they entered the arena, the roar of the crowd enveloped them, and Naruto felt the adrenaline surge through his veins. This was it, the moment he had been waiting for. He looked around, taking in the other teams, their faces a mix of determination and nervousness. But he felt a sense of purpose swelling within him. No matter the challenge, he would protect his friends and fight for their future. As the first round began, Naruto faced his opponents with unwavering resolve, channeling Cerberus's power to enhance his strength and abilities. The battles ahead would be fierce, but he was ready. With the bond of friendship and the power of Cerberus at his side, he would face anything that came his way. Let's do this, he shouted, a fierce determination burning in his heart. The Chunin exams had begun, and Naruto Uzumaki was ready to rise to the occasion. The roar of the crowd grew louder as Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke stepped into the arena, their hearts racing with excitement and determination. The sun hung high in the sky, illuminating the vast expanse of the arena, where other teams had already gathered, their faces a mix of anticipation and anxiety. The air was thick with the scent of competition, and Naruto could feel the energy pulsing around him. This is it. Let's show everyone what we can do, Naruto shouted, his enthusiasm infectious. As they approached the center of the arena, a familiar figure stepped forward to address the crowd. The proctor for the exams, Proctor Genma Shiranui. With his laid-back demeanor and ever-present toothpick, Genma commanded respect from the participants and the audience alike. Welcome, everyone, to the Chunin exams. Genma's voice rang out, cutting through the noise of the crowd. Today marks the beginning of a test that will determine who is worthy of advancing to the rank of Chunin. The first phase will be a written exam, followed by a practical test in the arena. Naruto's heart sank slightly at the mention of a written exam. What's that about? I thought we were here to fight, he muttered under his breath. Sakura shot him a look, a mix of amusement and exasperation. There's more to being a ninja than just fighting, Naruto. It's about strategy and intelligence too. Right, he said, scratching his head. I guess I'll just have to wing it. As the proctor explained the rules and regulations, Naruto's mind raced with thoughts of the battles to come. He envisioned himself showcasing the full extent of his abilities, summoning Cerberus to aid him in combat. The idea filled him with excitement, and he couldn't help but grin. All right, listen up, Genma continued, pulling Naruto back to reality. You'll have an hour to complete the written exam. You're allowed to collaborate with your teammates, but remember, if you're caught cheating, you'll be disqualified. A hush fell over the arena as the proctor handed out the exam papers. Naruto stared at the blank sheet in front of him, his heart racing. What if I fail? I don't know the first thing about this, he thought, panic creeping into his mind. Sakura, sensing his unease, leaned over. Just stay calm. We can help each other out. Remember, teamwork is key. Sasuke glanced at the questions, his brow furrowing slightly. Just focus on what you know. You've trained hard for this. Naruto took a deep breath, determined to push aside his fears. He quickly scanned the questions, trying to piece together answers from his knowledge and experiences. The exam progressed, and to his surprise, he found that some of the questions were related to practical situations they might encounter as ninjas. With Sakura's guidance and Sasuke's sharp intellect, they managed to tackle the exam together, collaborating on answers and sharing insights. Despite the initial anxiety, Naruto found himself enjoying the challenge. As the hour came to a close, Genma called for silence. Pencils down. Time's up. The tension in the arena was palpable as he began collecting the exam papers. Now, let's move on to the next phase of the exam. Naruto felt a rush of relief wash over him. We did it. We made it through the written part. Sasuke shrugged, his expression neutral. That was just the first step. The real challenges are still ahead. Yeah, but we've got this, Naruto replied, determination sparkling in his eyes. The next phase began shortly after, and the participants were ushered to a new arena. Larger and more expansive than the first. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement, and Naruto could see the anticipation in the eyes of his fellow competitors. Now, for the practical phase, you'll be participating in one-on-one battles, Genma announced. Teams will be called one by one, and each member will have the chance to showcase their skills. This is it, Naruto thought, his pulse quickening. The first match was called, and Naruto watched as two ninjas from a different village faced off. The air crackled with tension as they unleashed their jutsu, testing each other's skills in a display of strength and strategy. As the matches continued, Naruto felt a mix of excitement and nerves. He was eager to prove himself, but he also felt the weight of expectations pressing down on him. Just stay focused, Sasuke murmured beside him. You've trained for this. Finally, it was time for the first round of matches to conclude, and the announcer called for the next set of competitors. Naruto Uzumaki stepped forward. His heart raced as he stepped into the arena, feeling the weight of the crowd's gaze upon him. Across from him stood a tall, intimidating figure with long black hair and an air of confidence. I'm going to enjoy this, the opponent smirked, cracking his knuckles. You think you can take me down? Naruto squared his shoulders, refusing to back down. You bet I can? I won't lose. As the signal to begin the match sounded, Naruto summoned Cerberus's energy, feeling the familiar dark chakra coursing through him. His opponent launched a flurry of shurikens, but Naruto dodged gracefully, the agility and speed enhanced by Cerberus's presence. He countered with a swift kick, aiming for his opponent's midsection. The kick landed, sending the ninja stumbling backward. Not bad, the opponent said, recovering quickly. But let's see how you handle this. He formed a series of hand signs, and Naruto recognized the jutsu immediately. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. Not on my watch, Naruto shouted, channeling Cerberus's energy to enhance his own jutsu. He focused, summoning the dark flames that Cerberus had gifted him. Cerberus flame, he shouted, releasing a torrent of dark fire that clashed with the opponent's fireball. The arena exploded with energy as the two jutsus collided, creating a shockwave that pushed both combatants back. As the smoke cleared, Naruto stood tall, feeling the exhilaration of battle. He could see his opponent grimacing, clearly surprised by the power he had displayed. What the ninja gasped, wide-eyed. Seizing the moment, Naruto charged forward, using the momentum to land a series of quick strikes. With each blow, he felt Cerberus's power fueling him, enhancing his speed and strength. The opponent staggered, struggling to defend himself. This isn't over yet, he growled, regaining his composure. He formed another set of hand signs, preparing for a more powerful attack. I won't let you, Naruto shouted, feeling a rush of determination. Cerberus, lend me your strength. Summoning the full power of Cerberus, Naruto unleashed a concentrated blast of dark energy. The force surged forward, catching his opponent off guard and throwing him back against the arena wall. The crowd erupted in cheers as Naruto's opponent fell to the ground, unable to continue. Victory goes to Naruto Uzumaki. Genma declared, raising his hand in acknowledgement. Naruto's heart soared, the adrenaline pumping through his veins. He had won his first match, and the thrill of victory filled him with confidence. As he made his way back to his teammates, he couldn't help but grin from ear to ear. Did you see that? I really did it. That was impressive. Sasuke admitted, a hint of respect in his voice. You were amazing, Naruto. Sakura cheered, her eyes shining with pride. Naruto felt a warmth spread through him, knowing that he had earned their respect. But the battles were just beginning. He was ready to face whatever came next, fueled by his friends and the power of Cerberus. As the matches continued, Naruto sat with his teammates, eagerly watching the others compete. His heart raced with anticipation for his next fight, but he also knew he had to stay focused. I wonder who's next, he mused, scanning the arena. Sakura leaned closer, her expression serious. We need to be prepared for anything. Some of these fighters are really strong. I know, Naruto replied, determination shining in his eyes. But I've got Cerberus on my side, and I won't hold back. As the next set of matches began, Naruto felt a mix of excitement and determination. He was ready to prove himself, ready to show everyone the strength he had gained. With the power of Cerberus within him and the support of his friends, he knew he could face any challenge that lay ahead. Let's do this, he shouted, his spirit soaring. The Chunin exams were just beginning, and Naruto Uzumaki was ready to rise to the occasion, one battle at a time. The matches in the arena continued, each display of jutsu and strategy sending waves of excitement through the crowd. Naruto watched intently, absorbing the techniques used by other ninjas, analyzing their strengths and weaknesses. Each battle revealed new tactics, and he made mental notes for his upcoming matches. As the afternoon wore on, the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the arena. The announcer called for the next competitors, and Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline. It's my turn again. Let's go. Remember, stay focused, Sakura reminded him as he made his way to the arena. Naruto nodded, determined to keep his mind sharp. He stepped into the center of the arena, feeling the heat of the crowd's anticipation wash over him. Across from him stood a tall, muscular ninja with spiky hair and a confident grin. He wore the insignia of the Hidden Stone Village. You think you can take me down? The ninja taunted, crossing his arms. I'll show you what real power looks like. Bring it on, Naruto replied, his confidence unwavering. As the signal to begin sounded, the opponent wasted no time, launching himself forward with a burst of speed. He threw a series of powerful punches, each one aimed to test Naruto's defenses. Naruto ducked and dodged, channeling Cerberus's enhanced agility to evade the blows. Is that all you've got? Naruto taunted, feeling the familiar thrill of battle course through him. His opponent smirked, stepping back momentarily to create some distance. I'll show you, he shouted, forming hand signs with remarkable speed. Earth style. Rock barrage. Stones erupted from the ground, hurtling toward Naruto like a rain of boulders. He quickly assessed the situation and channeled Cerberus's dark energy. Cerberus' shield, a protective barrier of dark flames, appeared around him, absorbing the impact of the rocks. The crowd gasped in awe as the flames flickered, blocking the onslaught of earth projectiles. What? The opponent exclaimed, surprise evident on his face. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto burst through the protective barrier and charged forward. Let's see how you handle this, he shouted, focusing Cerberus's energy into his fist. He threw a powerful punch, enhanced by the dark flames, aiming directly at his opponent. The force of the attack connected, sending the ninja flying backward and crashing into the arena wall. The crowd erupted in cheers, chanting Naruto's name. He's amazing, Sakura shouted, her voice filled with excitement. Not bad for a wannabe ninja, Sasuke added, a hint of approval in his tone. As the dust settled, Naruto stood tall, his heart racing with adrenaline. He could feel Cerberus's energy surging within him, fueling his confidence. His opponent slowly rose, a look of determination in his eyes. "You got lucky. This fight isn't over yet. Bring it." Naruto called back, ready to face whatever his opponent had planned. The ninja formed more hand signs, this time focusing his chakra into the ground. Earth style. Quicksand. Suddenly, the ground beneath Naruto shifted, turning into a swirling pit of sand that began to swallow him. "What the?" Naruto yelped, feeling the pull of the quicksand. He fought against it, channeling Cerberus's power to stabilize himself. "I won't be trapped that easily," he yelled, pushing against the force dragging him down. He summoned dark flames around his legs, using the heat to vaporize the sand and break free. The crowd gasped again, marveling at his resilience. As he burst free, he focused his chakra and unleashed a powerful jutsu. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Several copies of Naruto appeared around the arena, ready for action. "Surround him," the original Naruto commanded. The clones fanned out, each one preparing to strike. The opponent's eyes widened, realizing he was outnumbered. "What? You think you can take me down with clones?" Naruto grinned, determination shining in his eyes. "Not just any clones." In unison, the clones charged forward, each one throwing punches and kicks at the opponent. The real Naruto stayed back, watching closely for an opening. "Fire style. Phoenix Fire Jutsu," one of the clones shouted, sending a barrage of fireballs toward the ninja. The flames lit up the arena, illuminating the intensity of the battle. The opponent struggled to defend himself, deflecting some of the attacks while dodging others. "I won't let you win," he growled, summoning his own chakra to create a shield of rock. The clones continued their assault, forcing him to focus on defense. Seeing his opponent distracted, Naruto decided it was time to strike. "Now, Cerberus," he shouted, channeling the beast's energy into one final attack. With a burst of speed, he surged forward, his fist engulfed in dark flames. Cerberus's wrath. The attack struck the opponent's shield, shattering it and sending him flying across the arena. The force of the blow knocked him out of the match entirely. "Victory goes to Naruto Uzumaki," Genma announced, raising his hand in celebration. Naruto stood in the center of the arena, panting but triumphant. The crowd roared with applause, chanting his name. He felt an overwhelming sense of pride swell within him as he took a moment to soak in the glory. "You did it again." Sakura cheered, rushing to his side. "That was awesome," Sasuke added, nodding in approval. "Thanks, guys," Naruto replied, grinning from ear to ear. He turned to face the audience, raising his arms in victory. But deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. As the matches continued, Naruto felt a mix of excitement and determination. He had proven himself in the first rounds, but the Chunin exams were far from over. He knew there were stronger opponents ahead, and he couldn't afford to let his guard down. The next match was called, and Naruto watched as his friend Shikamaru stepped into the arena. He admired Shikamaru's calm demeanor and strategic thinking, knowing that his friend would face the challenge with his usual laid-back attitude. The battle began, and Naruto focused on Shikamaru's every move. He could see the brilliance in Shikamaru's strategy as he used Shadow Jutsu to manipulate his opponent's movements. "You got this, Shikamaru," Naruto shouted, cheering him on. Shikamaru smirked, effortlessly dodging his opponent's attacks and countering with precision. After what felt like an eternity, Shikamaru emerged victorious, leaving Naruto inspired. "I need to step up my game," he thought, feeling the weight of the upcoming battles. The day continued with more matches. And as the sun began to set, Naruto could feel the intensity in the air. He had fought hard, but the strongest competitors were yet to come. As he watched the final matches of the day, he felt a surge of determination. "No matter what happens, I won't give up," he vowed, clenching his fists. The Chunin exams were a test of more than just strength. They were a testament to his growth as a ninja. He could feel Cerberus's power within him, a constant reminder that he had the strength to overcome any challenge. As the matches concluded and the arena began to empty, Naruto turned to his teammates. Tomorrow, I'll fight even harder. I won't let anyone down. Sasuke nodded. A flicker of determination in his eyes. We'll all need to step up. The next matches will be tougher. Sakura placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. We believe in you, Naruto. Just keep being yourself. With those words, Naruto felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, fueled by his friends, his determination, and the power of Cerberus. Let's do this, he shouted, raising his fist into the air. I'm going to become Hokage. No matter what. With that, the trio left the arena. Their spirits high as they prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. Naruto's journey had only just begun, but he knew he was ready to face whatever came his way. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over Konohagakure as Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke made their way back to their temporary quarters. The excitement from the day still buzzed in Naruto's chest, invigorating him as he thought about the battles that lay ahead. I can't believe how well I did today, he said, a wide grin plastered across his face. I really felt the power of Cerberus. It's like I'm just scratching the surface of what I can do. Sakura smiled back, her eyes sparkling with pride. You were incredible, Naruto. Just remember to stay focused and don't let that power go to your head. Sasuke remained silent, his expression serious as he contemplated the upcoming challenges. As they entered their quarters, Naruto flopped onto the couch, the adrenaline from the matches still coursing through him. So, what's the plan for tomorrow? I want to keep training tonight. Sakura raised an eyebrow. Training? Don't you think you should rest? You fought hard today. Rest is for the weak, he declared with a laugh, already envisioning the next day's matches. I want to be the best, and that means pushing myself. You're going to wear yourself out at this rate, Sasuke remarked, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. But I guess if you really want to train, I can join you. Naruto's eyes lit up at the prospect. Really? You'll train with me? This is awesome? Sasuke nodded, his expression softening slightly. Yeah, but only if you promise not to go overboard. Deal. Naruto shouted, standing up with renewed energy. As night settled over the village, the trio ventured to a secluded training ground on the outskirts of the Hidden Leaf. The moon illuminated the area, casting silver light on the trees and the ground, creating an almost ethereal atmosphere. Let's start with some basic jutsu, Sasuke suggested, moving into a stance. We can see how far you've come. Naruto nodded eagerly, his heart racing with anticipation. All right. Watch this. He focused his chakra, calling upon the power of Cerberus as he performed the hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A massive fireball erupted from his mouth, soaring into the night sky and exploding with a resounding boom. The flames illuminated the area, and Naruto's eyes shone with excitement. How's that? He asked, breathing heavily from the effort. Sasuke smirked, clearly impressed. Not bad. But you need to work on your control. You wasted a lot of chakra on that. Yeah, I know, Naruto replied, scratching the back of his head sheepishly. But I can feel Cerberus helping me. It feels so powerful. Sasuke nodded, his gaze serious. Power is only useful if you know how to control it. Let's work on that. The two began their training, focusing on honing Naruto's chakra control and jutsu execution. Sakura watched from the sidelines, her heart swelling with pride as she saw Naruto push himself, determined to improve. You've come a long way, Naruto, she called out, encouragement filling her voice. Just keep it up. As the hours passed, Naruto and Sasuke continued their training, testing each other's abilities and refining their techniques. The atmosphere was charged with energy, the bond of friendship evident as they pushed one another to be better. Let's try something different, Sasuke suggested after a while. How about we test your speed? Naruto's eyes sparkled with excitement. I'm up for it. Just give me a challenge, Sasuke smirked, stepping back a few paces. All right. I'll throw some kunai at you. Try to dodge them. Naruto's confidence surged. Piece of cake. As Sasuke began to throw kunai at him with precision, Naruto focused, channeling Cerberus's agility. He weaved and dodged, the dark flames flickering around him as he moved with supernatural speed. Sasuke watched closely, impressed as Naruto avoided the projectiles effortlessly. Good. Now let's see if you can counterattack. You got it. Naruto yelled, channeling his chakra and summoning a shadow clone to aid him. The clone dashed forward, creating a diversion, while Naruto followed up with a powerful punch. The kunai fell harmlessly to the ground, and the two of them burst into laughter at the sheer thrill of training together. As the night wore on, the trio continued their training until exhaustion began to set in. Okay. I think that's enough for tonight, Sakura finally said, stepping forward. We need to rest if we want to be ready for the matches tomorrow. Reluctantly, Naruto nodded, a hint of disappointment in his voice. I just wanted to keep going. I'm so close to mastering this power. You will. But you need to let your body recover, Sasuke reminded him. They made their way back to their quarters, the moonlight guiding their path. As they walked, Naruto felt a sense of camaraderie with his friends that he hadn't experienced before. Thanks for training with me, you guys, he said, glancing at them. I really appreciate it. Sakura smiled warmly. Of course. We're in this together. Yeah, Sasuke added, his tone more relaxed. We all want to get stronger. As they reached their quarters, Naruto paused at the entrance, feeling a swell of determination within him. Tomorrow, I'll show everyone what I can do. I won't let anyone down. The following morning arrived with bright sunlight filtering through the windows, casting a warm glow over the room. Naruto woke up with renewed energy, eager for the day ahead. Today's the day, he exclaimed, jumping out of bed and getting dressed. He joined his teammates for breakfast, the table filled with the usual assortment of food. You're looking pretty pumped, Naruto, Sakura said, eyeing him with curiosity. Of course. Today's the final rounds of the Chunin exams. I can feel it. I'm going to crush it. Sasuke raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. Just remember what we talked about. Keep your head in the game. Yeah. I'll be fine. I'm ready for anything. As they finished breakfast, they made their way to the arena. Excitement buzzing in the air. The atmosphere was electric, filled with spectators eager to witness the culmination of the Chunin exams. Look at all the people, Naruto exclaimed, scanning the crowd. Just focus on your matches, Sakura reminded him. Naruto nodded, steeling himself for the challenges ahead. As they entered the arena, the announcer's voice echoed through the loudspeakers. Welcome to the final rounds of the Chunin exams. Today, we'll witness the strongest ninjas of the Hidden Leaf Village battle it out for the title of Chunin. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Naruto felt his heart race with excitement. He was ready. Let's go, he shouted, raising his fist into the air, the power of Cerberus surging within him. As the matches began, Naruto watched his peers compete, feeling a mix of nerves and exhilaration. I can do this, he thought, determination flooding his veins. I'm going to prove myself. Finally, the moment arrived when Naruto's name was called. Next up, Naruto Uzumaki vs. Kiba Inuzuka. Naruto stepped forward, adrenaline coursing through him. The crowd roared, and he could see Kiba grinning confidently across the arena. You ready to lose, Naruto? Kiba taunted, his loyal companion Akamaru by his side. Not a chance, Naruto replied, confidence flooding his voice. As the signal to begin sounded, Naruto knew he was prepared to unleash the power of Cerberus. Let's see what you've got, he shouted, determination etched on his face. The battle began, and as Naruto and Kiba faced off, the real test of strength, strategy, and heart was about to unfold. The arena was electric with anticipation as the two ninjas clashed, and Naruto was ready to prove that he was a force to be reckoned with. As the match began, Naruto squared off against Kiba, the Inuzuka fighter's confident smirk and the ferocious Akamaru at his side challenging him. The crowd roared, their energy palpable, as anticipation hung thick in the air. I'll show you what real power looks like, Naruto shouted, drawing on the strength of Cerberus within him. The flames flickered along his body, a striking contrast to the bright colors of his ninja gear. Bring it on, Kiba replied, grinning as he launched himself forward with Akamaru at his side. both of them dashing toward Naruto in perfect synchronicity. Naruto felt the surge of energy flowing through him, amplifying his speed and reflexes. Let's do this. He dodged to the side just as Kiba and Akamaru lunged at him. He could sense Akamaru's instincts kicking in, predicting his movements, and it excited him. You think you can escape this? Kiba shouted, launching into a spinning kick. Naruto countered, summoning a shadow clone that appeared just in time to absorb the brunt of the attack, letting it flicker away as it hit Kiba's foot. The distraction allowed Naruto to get behind Kiba, channeling his chakra. Now, Cerberus, he yelled, feeling the power swell within him as he executed a series of hand signs. Fire style. Phoenix Fire Jutsu. A barrage of small fireballs erupted from his mouth, aiming straight at Kiba. Watch out! Kiba shouted, rolling to the side with Akamaru, narrowly avoiding the attack as flames scorched the ground. Naruto grinned, the thrill of the battle igniting his spirit. Not bad. Huh? Kiba, recovering from the dodge, charged again, his teeth bared. You're going to need more than that to take me down. He performed a quick sequence of hand signs. Let's go, Akamaru. In a flash, Kiba and Akamaru transformed into their combined form, an imposing wolf-like creature that charged toward Naruto with incredible speed. Naruto felt his heart race. He had to think fast. All right. Time to step it up. He called forth more chakra, letting the dark flames of Cerberus envelop him. The flames flickered and danced, energizing his body as he transformed his appearance, taking on a more primal aspect. Cerberus style, Flame Guardian, he declared, and a barrier of flames enveloped him, adding an extra layer of protection as he stood his ground. As Kiba and Akamaru lunged at him, the fiery barrier absorbed the impact, flames exploding outward as the two collided with the energy. What the? Kiba exclaimed, eyes wide with surprise as he was thrown back, Akamaru's form dissipating under the force of the flames. Naruto seized the opportunity, launching himself forward. This is for everyone who ever doubted me. He executed a series of rapid punches and kicks, enhanced by the Cerberus power, each strike landing with a resounding thud. Kiba staggered, struggling to regain his footing. I won't give up. Kiba shouted defiantly, shaking off the disorientation. He called upon his instincts, channeling his anger and determination into his next move. Let's go. Akamaru. Fang over fang. The two charged at Naruto once more, spinning like a whirlwind, intent on overwhelming him. Not this time. Naruto shouted, channeling his chakra into the ground beneath him. Cerberus, lend me your strength. With a swift motion, he called forth a wave of fiery energy that erupted from the earth, creating a barrier that engulfed Kiba and Akamaru in flames. The audience gasped in awe as the flames illuminated the arena. A brilliant display of power. Kiba and Akamaru struggled against the flames, trying to escape the overwhelming force. I won't let you win, Naruto. Kiba shouted, his voice fierce despite the chaos. Then show me what you've got. Naruto challenged, channeling even more of the Cerberus's power into his flames. The two forces collided with explosive energy, sending shockwaves through the arena. Naruto focused, drawing on the intense power of Cerberus as he solidified his resolve. He felt the heat of the flames coursing through him, amplifying his strength and determination. Cerberus, together we're unstoppable. As he unleashed another wave of flames, Kiba's resolve flickered, the power of Naruto's transformation overwhelming him. The audience erupted in cheers and gasps as the fight reached its climax. This is incredible. Sakura shouted, eyes wide with admiration as she watched Naruto unleash his potential. Sasuke remained stoic, his gaze fixed on Naruto as he analyzed every move. He's really harnessing that power, he murmured, a hint of respect lacing his voice. In the arena, Naruto continued his assault, flames swirling around him as he evaded Kiba's desperate counterattacks. Each movement was fluid, each strike infused with the ferocity of Cerberus, pushing him closer to victory. I can do this. Naruto yelled, a fierce determination burning in his heart. With a final burst of energy, he summoned a massive fireball, aiming it directly at Kiba. This is it. Fire style. Great Fireball Jutsu. The fireball soared through the air, illuminating the arena as it approached Kiba. "No!" Kiba shouted, his eyes wide with realization. He attempted to dodge, but the flames were too fast. The fireball erupted upon impact, sending a shockwave that engulfed the arena in flames and smoke. The crowd fell silent, holding their breath as they awaited the outcome. When the smoke cleared, Naruto stood in the center of the arena, breathing heavily but victorious. Kiba lay on the ground, unable to continue, his body scorched but safe, thanks to the protective barrier Naruto had summoned earlier. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena. "The winner of this match is Naruto Uzumaki." The crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of support crashing over him. Naruto raised his fists in triumph, feeling a rush of exhilaration wash over him. "I did it! I really did it!" he shouted, reveling in the joy of his victory. Sasuke walked over, offering a rare smile. "Not bad, Dobi. You really showed your strength." Sakura rushed to his side, beaming with pride. "You were amazing, Naruto. I knew you could do it." As he basked in the moment, Naruto felt the presence of Cerberus within him, a silent acknowledgement of their bond. He knew this was just the beginning. "I'll keep getting stronger," he vowed to himself, eyes gleaming with determination. "I won't stop until I prove I'm the best." As the matches continued throughout the day, Naruto felt the rush of victory coursing through him. He had defeated Kiba, and now, with each subsequent match, he felt himself grow stronger and more confident. The power of Cerberus fueled his spirit, and he was ready to take on whatever challenges lay ahead. The tournament progressed, with each fight showcasing Naruto's growing mastery over his abilities. He faced opponents from various clans, each battle pushing him to his limits. But with every clash, Naruto was reminded that he was never alone. He felt the support of his friends, their unwavering belief in him strengthening his resolve. "I won't let you down," he promised, glancing at Sakura and Sasuke after every victory. After several rounds of intense battles, Naruto found himself in the final match, facing a formidable opponent, Neji Hyuga, the prodigious member of the Hyuga clan. Neji stood across the arena, a calm and collected expression on his face. "You think you can defeat me, Uzumaki? You're just a loudmouth." Naruto clenched his fists, feeling the heat of Cerberus pulsing within him. "I'm going to show you what I'm made of." The arena was packed with spectators, their excitement palpable as the two opponents stared each other down. "Let's see what you've got, Naruto," Sasuke called out, his voice filled with encouragement. "Yeah, you can do it," Sakura chimed in, her support unwavering. With a nod to his friends, Naruto centered himself, drawing upon the power of Cerberus. He could feel the energy coursing through him, fueling his determination. As the signal to start sounded, Naruto charged at Neji, ready to prove that he was no longer just a loudmouth but a true ninja worthy of respect. "I'll show you the power of my flames," he shouted, unleashing a torrent of fire as he launched himself forward. Ready for the battle that would define his journey, Neji's eyes narrowed, ready to counter. But Naruto was determined to break through. This was his moment to shine, and he wouldn't let it slip away. The final battle had begun, and Naruto was prepared to unleash the full extent of his newfound power, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As Naruto charged forward, the arena buzzed with excitement, the crowd cheering his name as he confronted Neji, a determined expression etched on his face. The tension in the air was palpable as both fighters squared off, each aware that the outcome of this battle could alter their destinies. "You're fast, but speed alone won't save you," Neji declared, his Byakugan activated, eyes glowing with a fierce determination. Naruto felt the weight of Neji's gaze but didn't waver. "I won't lose to you. Not today." He leapt into the air, calling upon the power of Cerberus. Cerberus flame style. Inferno strike. He unleashed a torrent of fire, the flames spiraling toward Neji with incredible speed. Neji smirked, his confidence unshaken. "You think fire can defeat the gentle fist?" He quickly dodged to the side, using his superior agility to avoid the fiery assault. Naruto landed gracefully, turning to track Neji's movements. He had expected Neji to evade the flames. Now he needed to be unpredictable. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Dozens of Naruto clones sprang into existence, surrounding Neji, each one filled with the intense energy of Cerberus. The audience erupted into cheers, their excitement igniting the atmosphere. "Let's overwhelm him," one clone shouted, and they all charged at Neji. Fists ready. Neji's eyes darted between the clones. So many distractions. But they're still just clones. He activated his gentle fist stance, ready to defend against the onslaught. As the clones closed in, Naruto concentrated, channeling more of Cerberus's power into his attack. Cerberus Flame Style. Flame Burst. The clones attacked Neji in unison. And just as Neji prepared to counter, Naruto launched the concentrated fireball from behind, catching Neji off guard. "What?" Neji exclaimed, unable to dodge the fiery explosion that erupted from behind him. The force of the blast sent him crashing to the ground, and the crowd gasped, a mix of awe and disbelief filling the arena. "I can't believe he got Neji," Sakura shouted, her eyes wide. "Don't celebrate too soon," Sasuke warned, watching intently. As the smoke cleared, Neji rose slowly, visibly shaken but not defeated. "Impressive, Naruto. But it won't be enough." He steadied himself, eyes locked onto Naruto with renewed intensity. "The future isn't predetermined. It's shaped by our choices." Naruto clenched his fists, determination burning in his chest. "Then I'll shape my future with my own hands." With a roar, he charged again, calling forth the flames of Cerberus. Fire Style. Scorching Whirlwind. A massive whirlwind of flames erupted around him, launching toward Neji. The intensity of the attack ignited the ground as it swirled, creating a fierce barrier of heat. Neji activated his defense, preparing for the blow. "You won't break through my defense." As the flames approached, he executed a quick series of strikes, using the gentle fist to deflect the incoming fire. The clash created a thunderous explosion, sending shockwaves through the arena. Naruto felt the heat from the flames and the force of the impact. But he stood firm, his resolve unyielding. "You can't stop me, Neji. I won't back down." Through the haze of smoke and fire, he focused on his surroundings, summoning more clones to distract Neji as he prepared for his next attack. "We'll surround him this time," he shouted to his clones, and they all took their positions, ready to converge on Neji. Neji's expression hardened, recognizing the tactic. "You're underestimating my abilities." He charged forward, determined to break through the clones and reach Naruto. Naruto reacted instinctively, channeling Cerberus's power into one powerful punch. Cerberus Strike, as Neji closed the distance. Naruto launched his attack, the force of the punch sending flames in all directions. The flames collided with Neji, and for a moment, the world stood still. "This is it," Naruto thought, feeling the power of Cerberus surge through him, ready to claim victory. But Neji, in a moment of sheer determination, countered with his own technique. A barrage of strikes aimed directly at Naruto's heart. 8 trigrams. 64 palms. The crowd watched in shock as Neji's strikes found their mark, landing blows that sent Naruto staggering back. "No, Naruto!" Sakura screamed, anxiety flooding her voice. Naruto stumbled, struggling to regain his balance as pain coursed through him. He could feel the energy of Cerberus within him, but Neji's precision was overwhelming. "It's not over yet," Naruto shouted, forcing himself to focus. As Neji approached for the finishing blow, Naruto gathered the last reserves of his strength. Cerberus Flame Style. Infernal Rebirth. In a blinding flash of light, flames erupted from Naruto, forming a massive barrier that sent Neji flying back. The crowd gasped as the flames engulfed the arena, creating a mesmerizing display of power. Naruto's body glowed with the essence of Cerberus, the heat radiating around him as he transformed the pain into strength. "I won't give up," he declared, his voice echoing with determination. Neji, still recovering from the impact, looked up in disbelief. "What is this power? This is my true strength," Naruto shouted, feeling the connection with Cerberus intensify. With renewed vigor, he charged forward, closing the distance between them in an instant. "Let's end this. Neji, you think you can defeat me so easily?" Neji responded, a fierce light igniting in his eyes. The two opponents clashed once more, their powers colliding with incredible force. The arena shook as they exchanged blows, each strike fueled by their indomitable wills. Naruto pushed through the pain, channeling the energy of Cerberus into each punch. He felt invincible, empowered by the bond they shared. With a final surge of determination, he prepared his ultimate attack, Cerberus Inferno. Raging flames. As he unleashed the attack, a wave of fire erupted from his hands, engulfing Neji in a torrent of blazing flames. Neji's eyes widened, realizing he had underestimated Naruto's resolve. No, I won't be defeated. He attempted to counter, but the flames consumed him, the heat overwhelming his defenses. With a final explosion of energy, the arena erupted in light, the force of the attack sending shockwaves throughout. As the smoke cleared, Naruto stood panting, the flames dissipating around him. He looked down to see Neji on the ground, exhausted and defeated, but alive. I lost, Neji admitted, breathless. The crowd erupted in cheers, their excitement echoing throughout the arena. Naruto fell to his knees, the reality of his victory sinking in. He had fought valiantly, pushing himself beyond his limits. The power of Cerberus had awakened something deep within him, and he felt a sense of pride swelling in his heart. I did it, he murmured, exhaustion washing over him. Sasuke approached, a look of respect in his eyes. You've proven yourself, Naruto. Sakura rushed to his side, tears of joy glistening in her eyes. You were incredible. I knew you could do it. Naruto managed a weak smile, feeling the warmth of their support. Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without you. As the arena erupted in celebration, Naruto knew that this victory was just the beginning. The power of Cerberus had awakened within him, and with it, he would forge his path forward, facing whatever challenges awaited him. In that moment, surrounded by his friends and the cheers of the crowd, he realized that he was no longer the underdog he once was. He had risen to become a true ninja, ready to carve his destiny in the world. The battle may have concluded, but Naruto's journey was far from over. With the power of Cerberus at his side and the unwavering support of his friends, he was ready to face any challenge that came his way. The future was bright, and he would face it head-on, unafraid and determined to protect those he loved. Let's go, Cerberus, he shouted, feeling the warmth of the flames and the strength within him. Together, they would rise, ready to take on the world. As the cheers of the crowd echoed through the arena, Naruto remained on his knees, panting heavily but filled with a newfound sense of purpose. The feeling of the Cerberus flames coursing through him was intoxicating, igniting a fire not just in his abilities, but in his spirit. Sakura knelt beside him, her eyes sparkling with admiration. Naruto, that was amazing. I can't believe how strong you've become. Yeah, you really showed Neji who's boss, Sasuke added, his voice a mix of respect and a hint of rivalry. Naruto smiled weakly, still catching his breath. Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without your support. His gaze turned back to the center of the arena, where the remnants of the battle still lingered. Neji was slowly getting to his feet, brushing the dust off his clothes with a look of contemplation on his face. You've improved significantly, Naruto. I underestimated you. Naruto's heart swelled with pride. I won't give up, Neji. I'm going to keep getting stronger. Neji nodded, a flicker of respect in his Byakugan eyes. You've proven that strength isn't just about skill. It's about heart. But remember, there are greater challenges ahead. Naruto stood up, a fiery determination burning within him. I'm ready for anything. Bring it on. The crowd continued to cheer, and the excitement was palpable. In that moment, he felt invincible. The journey of a ninja was fraught with obstacles, but with the power of Cerberus on his side and his friends backing him, he felt prepared to face whatever lay ahead. A new challenge after the match. The villagers started to disperse, but the atmosphere remained electric. Naruto, still riding the high of victory, felt a tug of unease in his gut. What's next? He wondered aloud, scratching his head. Sasuke smirked. Now that you've beaten Neji, I hope you're ready to face tougher opponents. Like who? Naruto asked, curiosity piqued. Before Sasuke could respond, the announcer's voice boomed through the arena. "Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for our brave contestants." But wait! We have a surprise announcement. The crowd hushed, eager to hear what the announcer had to say. In light of Naruto's stunning victory, we have decided to host a special tournament. All the top ninjas from across the villages will come to compete. The crowd erupted in cheers again, and Naruto's heart raced at the thought. A tournament meant more opportunities to test his skills. A tournament? This is perfect. Naruto exclaimed, his eyes shining with excitement. I can't wait to show everyone what I can do. The weight of responsibility as the crowd continued to buzz with anticipation. Naruto felt a sudden weight settle on his shoulders. This wasn't just about proving himself anymore. He was beginning to understand that being strong came with responsibilities. I need to make sure I'm ready, he thought, determination hardening in his chest. Sakura, noticing his contemplative expression, placed a hand on his shoulder. You're already strong, Naruto. But remember, it's not just about winning. You need to protect your friends and everyone in the village. Naruto nodded, taking her words to heart. You're right, Sakura. I won't let my power go to waste. I'll use it to protect everyone I care about. Good, Sasuke said, crossing his arms. But don't get cocky. There are some serious fighters out there. Naruto grinned, the thrill of the competition igniting his spirit. Bring them on. I'll take them all down. Training begins as the excitement of the tournament loomed on the horizon. Naruto knew he couldn't afford to be complacent. He needed to train harder than ever before. The power of Cerberus had unlocked new abilities, but it required discipline and mastery. The next day, he headed to the training grounds, ready to push his limits. All right, Cerberus, he called out, feeling the familiar warmth envelop him. Let's see what we can really do together. He focused, summoning the energy of Cerberus. Flames flickered around him, dancing eagerly in response to his call. Cerberus flame style. Training ground. The flames erupted, forming a fiery arena around him, perfect for honing his skills. Naruto began with a series of basic moves, executing rapid punches and kicks, each one imbued with the essence of Cerberus. With every strike, he felt stronger, more confident. The flames responded to his will, burning brightly with each successful move. This feels amazing, he shouted, joy radiating from him. I'm finally tapping into my full potential. But he knew that just unleashing power wouldn't be enough. He needed control. Let's work on precision, he decided, setting up targets around the training area. Each target represented a different opponent he might face in the tournament. A fiery challenge with the targets in place. Naruto focused on one in particular, visualizing it as Neji. He recalled the fight, the way Neji moved, the strategies he employed. Cerberus flame style. Target strike. With a swift motion, Naruto unleashed a focused stream of fire at the target, the flames hitting their mark perfectly. Yes, he cheered, his confidence soaring. He continued practicing, alternating between different styles, adapting each move for maximum impact. As he trained, he couldn't help but imagine the faces of his potential opponents. I wonder how strong they really are, he pondered, pushing himself harder. I won't let anyone take me down. A visitor just as Naruto was reaching the peak of his training session, he noticed a familiar figure approaching. It was Iruka, his former teacher and mentor. Naruto. Iruka called, a smile spreading across his face. I heard about your victory, Naruto beamed, wiping sweat from his brow. Thanks, Iruka. I'm training for the tournament now. I want to show everyone how strong I've become. Iruka chuckled, his eyes twinkling with pride. You've always had potential, Naruto. But remember, strength isn't just about power. It's also about the bonds you form and the people you protect. Naruto nodded, understanding the deeper meaning behind Iruka's words. I won't forget that. I want to become Hokage one day and protect everyone. Then keep training, and stay focused, Iruka advised. I believe in you. Feeling a surge of determination from his mentor's support, Naruto returned to his training with renewed vigor. The days of preparation days turned into weeks as Naruto dedicated himself to preparation for the tournament. He trained tirelessly, each day pushing his limits, honing his skills, and building the bond with Cerberus deeper. As the day of the tournament approached, whispers of anticipation filled the village. Naruto could feel the excitement in the air, the thrill of competition sparking a fire in his soul. The sun rose on the morning of the tournament, bright and clear. The village was alive with energy, colorful banners lining the streets, and crowds gathering to witness the event. "This is it," Naruto shouted, a broad grin stretching across his face as he joined his friends. "Are you ready to show the world what you can do?" Sakura asked, her voice filled with encouragement. "Absolutely," Naruto replied, determination etched in his features. "Then let's go out there and make our dreams a reality," Sasuke added, his eyes sharp with focus. Together, they made their way to the tournament arena, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. The tournament begins as they arrived. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement. Spectators filled the stands, the cheers of the crowd ringing in Naruto's ears. The announcer stood at the center, microphone in hand, ready to kick off the event. "Welcome, everyone, to the Great Ninja Tournament. Today, the strongest shinobi from across the land will compete for glory and honor." The crowd erupted in applause, and Naruto felt a rush of adrenaline coursing through him. "This is my chance," he thought, clenching his fists in anticipation. The first matches were announced, and Naruto's heart raced as he listened, excitement mixed with nerves. "Let's do this, Cerberus. Together, we're unstoppable." With renewed determination, he stepped forward, ready to carve his name into history and embrace the challenges that lay ahead. The flames of Cerberus burned brightly within him, fueling his spirit and igniting the fire of ambition in his heart. "No matter what happens, I'll fight for my friends. I'll protect everyone," he vowed, setting the stage for the battles to come. And so, the tournament began, a testament to strength, determination, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. With every step forward, Naruto knew that this was just the beginning of a grand adventure, one where he would prove his worth and rise to new heights as a ninja. The announcer's voice echoed through the arena, excitement electrifying the atmosphere. The first match of the tournament will be between Naruto Uzumaki of Konohagakure and Kenta Kuroda of Sanagakure. Naruto's heart raced as he stepped into the spotlight, the cheers of the crowd washing over him. He scanned the arena, catching glimpses of familiar faces in the audience. Sakura, Sasuke, Iruka, and many others, all rooting for him. Kenta stepped forward, a confident smirk on his face. He was tall and lean, his sandy hair blowing lightly in the wind. His eyes glinted with determination. "You think you can beat me, Naruto? I've heard about your recent victory, but it doesn't mean anything now." Naruto felt a surge of adrenaline. "You're about to find out just how strong I really am." As the referee signaled the start of the match, Naruto immediately activated the Cerberus flames, feeling the heat wrap around him like a second skin. Cerberus flame style. Fire pause. He lunged forward, unleashing a series of fiery punches aimed at Kenta. The flames crackled in the air, and the crowd gasped in awe. Kenta sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the fiery barrage, and countered with a swift kick aimed at Naruto's midsection. But Naruto was ready. He twisted his body, evading the strike with agility that surprised even him. "Not bad," Naruto exclaimed, impressed by his opponent's speed. Kenta launched into a flurry of attacks, his fists flying as he tried to find an opening. Naruto blocked and dodged with newfound confidence, the Cerberus flames enhancing his reflexes. An unexpected turn just as Kenta was about to strike again. Naruto remembered his training. "Now, let's try something new." With a deep breath, he focused on his connection to Cerberus. Cerberus flame style. Shadow burst. He disappeared from Kenta's line of sight, the flames swirling around him. In an instant, he reappeared behind Kenta, launching a powerful kick infused with the Cerberus flames. The kick connected solidly, sending Kenta sprawling to the ground. The crowd erupted in cheers, and Naruto couldn't help but grin. "I'm just getting started." Kenta quickly regained his footing, his expression shifting to one of determination. "Impressive, but I'm not done yet." He charged at Naruto, channeling chakra into his hands. "Sand bullet," he shouted, launching a barrage of sand projectiles toward Naruto. With quick reflexes, Naruto summoned the Cerberus flames to create a protective barrier. The sand bullets collided with the flames, creating a dazzling explosion that filled the arena with smoke. A moment of reflection as the smoke cleared. Naruto took a moment to catch his breath. He could feel the energy of Cerberus coursing through him, amplifying his abilities. But he also realized the importance of strategy and adaptability in battle. I can't let my guard down. Kenta's strong, and I need to stay focused, he thought, scanning the arena for his opponent. Kenta emerged from the smoke. His eyes narrowed in concentration. You're tougher than I expected, Naruto. But I won't lose. Neither will I. Naruto shouted, determination flaring within him. The final showdown with renewed resolve. Kenta lunged forward again, unleashing a powerful strike aimed at Naruto's face. Naruto ducked, using his agility to avoid the blow, and countered with a roundhouse kick that sent a shockwave through the arena. Kenta staggered but quickly regained his footing, launching another series of punches. Naruto danced around him, his movements fueled by the flames of Cerberus. Cerberus flame style. Inferno Fury. Naruto called out, channeling all his energy into a single, explosive punch. The flames surged forward, creating a massive wave of fire that engulfed Kenta. The crowd gasped, and for a moment, it felt like time stood still. This is it, Naruto thought, his heart racing as he watched the flames consume his opponent. Victory. As the flames dissipated, Kenta fell to the ground, unable to continue. The referee raised Naruto's hand in victory, and the arena erupted in applause. Naruto Uzumaki wins the match, the announcer declared, and the cheers of the crowd filled the air. Naruto felt a surge of joy and relief wash over him. He had proven himself once again. I did it, he shouted, pumping his fist into the air. Sakura and Sasuke rushed to his side, their faces beaming with pride. That was incredible, Naruto. Sakura exclaimed, her eyes shining. You really showcased your strength and skills, Sasuke added, a hint of respect in his voice. Naruto grinned widely, feeling a mix of triumph and gratitude. Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without your support. The next challenge as he soaked in the glory of victory. The announcer continued with the tournament. We have many more matches to come, so stay tuned. Naruto couldn't wait for his next challenge. He knew this was just the beginning. There were tougher opponents ahead, and he was ready to face them head on. Bring it on, he thought, adrenaline still coursing through him. As the next matches unfolded, Naruto watched with anticipation, studying his potential opponents and absorbing their techniques. Reflections on strength. Later that evening, after the matches concluded, Naruto sat atop the Hokage monument, gazing at the village below. The sun was setting, casting a warm glow over Konoha. I won the first match. But I still have a long way to go, he mused, the flames of Cerberus flickering softly around him. I need to be stronger, not just for myself, but for everyone who believes in me. The thought ignited a fire in his heart. He would not let them down. I'll keep training, keep pushing my limits. One day, I will become Hokage, and I will protect this village. With that determination solidified in his heart, Naruto knew that he would face whatever challenges lay ahead with the same fervor and passion that had driven him thus far. The road ahead. As the moon rose in the night sky, Naruto felt a sense of calm wash over him. The tournament was just the beginning of his journey. With the power of Cerberus at his side, he was prepared to forge his own path, battling against fate itself and becoming the hero he always dreamed of being. I won't give up, he declared into the night, his voice echoing off the mountains. I'll become stronger than anyone, and I'll protect my friends and this village. And so, with a heart ablaze with ambition, Naruto Uzumaki embraced the challenges ahead, ready to carve his destiny in the world of shinobi. The following days in the Hidden Leaf Village were filled with excitement as the Chunin exams continued. Naruto trained rigorously, eager to maintain his momentum from the first match. He was fueled not only by his desire to become Hokage but also by the burning passion of Cerberus that flowed within him. After breakfast one morning, Naruto found himself at the training grounds, ready to push his limits. He began by practicing the Cerberus flame-styled techniques he had developed, focusing on precision and control. Cerberus flame style. Fiery leap. He launched himself into the air, flipping and igniting the flames as he descended, creating a dazzling display of fire. Awesome! He exclaimed, feeling exhilarated as he landed gracefully. But deep down, Naruto knew he needed more than just flashy moves. He had to develop strategies to outsmart his opponents in the upcoming rounds. As he practiced, he was interrupted by the familiar voice of his mentor, Iruka. Naruto. Iruka called out, approaching with a proud smile. I saw your match against Kenta. You've improved a lot. Thanks, Iruka-sensei. Naruto beamed, wiping sweat from his brow. But I still have more to learn. That's the spirit. Remember, strategy is as important as strength. You can't rely solely on brute force. Assess your opponents and adapt your techniques accordingly. Naruto nodded, absorbing his mentor's words. He appreciated Iruka's guidance, knowing it was essential to becoming a well-rounded ninja. Encountering new rivals that afternoon, while training, Naruto overheard a group of genin discussing the upcoming matches. Among them were familiar names: Shino Aburame, Kiba Inuzuka, and Hinata Hyuga. They were discussing the power of their clans and the unique abilities they possessed. Curious, Naruto approached them. Hey, guys. What are you talking about? Kiba grinned, crossing his arms. We were just discussing how we're going to crush our opponents in the next round. Shino adjusted his glasses, his voice calm. Preparation is crucial. We must observe our opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Hinata, her cheeks slightly flushed, nodded in agreement. Yes. It's important to remain focused and not underestimate anyone. Naruto felt a spark of excitement. You guys are right. I can't wait for my next match. I'll show them what I can do with Cerberus. Kiba laughed, clapping Naruto on the back. Just remember, it's not all about fire and flash. Strategy is key. The second round begins the day of the second round arrived, and the atmosphere in the arena was charged with anticipation. The announcer's voice boomed over the loudspeakers. Welcome back, everyone. We are now entering the second round of the Chunin exams. Prepare for more intense battles. As the matches began, Naruto watched closely, taking notes on each competitor's abilities. He saw Shino using his insects to gather information and Kiba unleashing his Gatsuga attacks with his faithful companion, Akamaru. Finally, the moment came for his next match: Naruto Uzumaki vs Kira Yamanaka. Kira stepped forward, her blonde hair flowing behind her. I've heard a lot about you, Naruto. Let's see if you're as strong as they say. You bet I am, he replied, confidence radiating from him. Strategies in flame as the referee signaled the start of the match. Naruto quickly accessed his powers. I need to remember Iruka-sensei's advice, he thought. I can't let my flames blind me. Kira wasted no time, her chakra flaring as she unleashed a series of mind techniques aimed to disorient Naruto. Mind-body switch technique. Naruto felt a strange sensation wash over him. But he fought against it, using the Cerberus flames to create a barrier around his mind. Cerberus flame style. Inner fire. He concentrated, channeling the flames to strengthen his mental fortitude. Kira frowned, realizing her technique had failed. You're tougher than I thought. But let's see how you handle this. She shifted her strategy, utilizing her Yamanaka clan's abilities to create clones that surrounded Naruto. Finding the opening, Naruto narrowed his eyes, assessing the situation. He could feel the presence of multiple Kiras around him, but he had to find the real one. All right, time to turn up the heat, he shouted, launching Cerberus flame style. Inferno sphere. A massive fireball erupted from his palms, illuminating the arena. The clones evaporated in a flash of flames, leaving only Kira standing. Kira's eyes widened in shock, but she quickly regained her composure. Impressive. But I can still outsmart you. She activated another technique, aiming to create an illusion that would confuse Naruto. But he was ready this time. You're not getting inside my head, he declared, using the flames to clear his mind and focus on the real Kira. The final assault as Kira tried to close the distance. Naruto made his move. Cerberus flame style. Three-headed attack. The flames split into three powerful heads, each one darting toward Kira, encircling her and forcing her into a defensive position. "What? No!" she exclaimed, realizing she was trapped. With one final push, Naruto unleashed the full force of his flames. "Let's finish this." Cerberus flame style. Final inferno. The flames surged forward, engulfing Kira in a brilliant display of fire. The crowd gasped, and as the flames receded, Kira fell to her knees, unable to continue. "Naruto Uzumaki wins the match," the announcer declared, the arena erupting in cheers. After the match, as Naruto caught his breath, he felt a wave of satisfaction wash over him. He had not only won but had done so by trusting his instincts and abilities. He made his way back to his friends, who greeted him with cheers. "You did it again, Naruto," Sakura exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with pride. "That was awesome, man," Kiba added, his enthusiasm infectious. Sasuke simply nodded, a hint of respect in his gaze. "Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without Cerberus's power and all your support." Naruto beamed, setting new goals that night. As Naruto lay in bed, he reflected on his matches. "I'm getting stronger, but I can't stop now. There are still more rounds to go, and I want to keep improving," he thought, the flames of Cerberus flickering softly around him. He closed his eyes, envisioning the battles that lay ahead. With every challenge, he would continue to learn, adapt, and rise to new heights. "I'll show everyone what I'm capable of. I'll become Hokage, and I'll protect everyone I care about," he vowed, determination surging within him. With that promise etched in his heart, Naruto drifted into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of the adventures that awaited him in the Chunin exams. The flames of Cerberus flickered in the night, a symbol of his strength and resolve. The path to greatness as the next days unfolded. Naruto trained even harder, honing his skills and focusing on the strategies he had learned from his matches. He practiced with Sakura, Sasuke, and his friends, learning from their techniques while sharing his own insights. Each day brought new challenges, but Naruto felt more than ready to face them. The Chunin exams were not just about proving himself. They were about forging bonds with his comrades and becoming the hero he had always dreamed of being. He would not only rise to the challenge but also inspire others along the way. With Cerberus by his side, he was determined to achieve greatness and protect the bonds he held dear. And so, Naruto Uzumaki continued his journey, prepared to face whatever obstacles lay ahead, fueled by friendship, determination, and the flames of Cerberus that burned brightly within him. As the sun rose over Konoha, casting a golden hue across the village, Naruto woke up with renewed vigor. Today marked the beginning of the third round of the Chunin exams, and he could feel the excitement in the air. He had trained hard, not only to harness the powers of Cerberus but also to cultivate the strategic mindset that Iruka had emphasized. "I'm ready for whatever comes next," he declared to himself, a determined glint in his eyes as he put on his ninja attire. After a hearty breakfast, Naruto joined his friends at the training ground. Sakura was stretching, while Sasuke practiced his shuriken technique. "You guys ready for the big day?" Naruto asked, his enthusiasm infectious. "You better believe it," Sasuke replied, flicking his shuriken with precision. "I plan to win this whole tournament." Sakura nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "Let's all do our best and support each other. We can't let our guard down." As they trained together, Naruto focused on combining his Cerberus techniques with new strategies he had learned. He practiced the three-headed attack and other flame techniques while considering how to anticipate his opponent's movements. The arena of destiny. When the time finally arrived for the third round, Naruto felt a mix of nerves and excitement. The arena was filled with spectators, the energy palpable as everyone eagerly awaited the matches. The announcer's voice rang out once again, commanding everyone's attention. "Welcome back to the Chunin exams. Today's matches promise to be the most exciting yet. Let's get started." The first few matches unfolded quickly, showcasing the skills of various shinobi. Naruto cheered on his friends, feeling the camaraderie and excitement swell in his chest. Finally, the announcer called out the names for the next match. "Next up, we have Naruto Uzumaki vs Rei Sakino from Iwagakure." Rei stepped into the arena, her silver hair flowing like a river. She had a calm demeanor but radiated a sense of hidden strength. "I've heard of you, Naruto. Let's see if you can live up to your reputation," she said, her voice steady. Naruto grinned, fueled by the challenge. "I won't let you down. Cerberus and I are ready." The clash of flames and rocks as the match began. Naruto quickly assessed Rei. He noticed her calm demeanor and guessed that she relied on her earth-based techniques. "I can't let her control the battlefield," he thought, preparing to strike first. Cerberus flame style. Blazing charge. He ignited his flames and dashed toward her, the heat radiating from his body. Rei's eyes narrowed, and she swiftly raised her hand, summoning a wall of rock to shield herself. The flames collided with the earth, creating a massive explosion that sent dust and debris flying. "Nice try," she called out, using the smoke as cover. Naruto pushed through the dust, determined to keep the pressure on. "I won't let you escape." He focused, channeling the power of Cerberus. Cerberus flame style. Scorching wave. A wave of flames erupted from his palms, aiming to overwhelm her defenses. A tactical retreat. Rei anticipated his move and leapt to the side, using the terrain to her advantage. "You're quick, but can you keep up?" she taunted, her confidence apparent. Naruto gritted his teeth, realizing he needed to be smarter about his approach. "Think, Naruto. She's using the landscape against me. I have to outsmart her," he thought, observing her movements. Rei used the rocks to create spikes, launching them at Naruto. He dodged nimbly, feeling the rush of adrenaline. "I need to change tactics," he shouted, a plan forming in his mind. "Let's see how you handle this." The element of surprise. With a deep breath, Naruto focused on his surroundings. He had an idea. Cerberus flame style. Ember cloak. He enveloped himself in a swirling cloak of flames, masking his presence. The heat shimmered around him, creating an illusion. "What? Where did he go?" Rei exclaimed, scanning the arena. Using the element of surprise, Naruto darted behind her. "Gotcha!" he yelled, thrusting his arm forward. Cerberus flame style. Fiery grasp. The flames surged forward, engulfing Rei in a brilliant blaze. But to his surprise, she countered with a rock barrier, blocking the attack at the last moment. "Not bad, but I'm not finished yet," Rei said, her voice steady despite the flames flickering around her. The turning point. Naruto felt exhilarated but knew he had to keep pushing. "I can't let up. I have to find her weakness." He leapt back, giving himself space to breathe. Cerberus flame style. Feral roar. He unleashed a wave of flames in a sweeping arc, forcing Rei to defend herself. As the flames spread, he noticed her stance falter for just a moment. "That's it. She's strong, but she's relying too much on her defense." Seizing the opportunity, he focused his chakra and executed a powerful charge. Cerberus flame style. Inferno rush. The flames intensified as he charged at Rei, who braced herself. The climactic finish as they collided. Rei managed to create a rock shield at the last moment, but the force of Naruto's attack shattered it. "No, I won't lose," she shouted, her determination flaring. But Naruto was fueled by the will of Cerberus. With a final, powerful thrust, he channeled everything he had into one last attack. Cerberus flame style. Ultimate conflagration. The arena erupted in a surge of flames, engulfing everything in a radiant blaze. When the smoke cleared, Rei was on the ground, unable to continue. "Naruto Uzumaki wins the match," the announcer proclaimed, and the crowd erupted into cheers. Celebrating victory. Breathless and exhilarated, Naruto stood tall as the cheers washed over him. He had won another match, proving his strength and resolve. As he made his way back to his friends, they greeted him with enthusiastic applause. "You did it again." Sakura cheered, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "That was a close call," Sasuke remarked, crossing his arms. "You handled it well." Naruto grinned, his heart swelling with pride. "Thanks, guys. That was intense." But even amidst the celebration, Naruto knew there was more work to be done. A new rivalry after the matches concluded for the day. He spotted Rei sitting by herself, her expression thoughtful. He approached her, sensing a mix of respect and camaraderie. Hey, that was an awesome match. You really pushed me to my limits, Naruto said, offering a hand to help her up. Rei smiled faintly, taking his hand. You have a strong spirit, Naruto. I underestimated you. Next time, I won't make that mistake. Naruto's grin widened. Next time, I'll be even stronger. Let's train together. Rei looked surprised but intrigued. Maybe I'll take you up on that. The road ahead as Naruto returned home that evening. The night sky filled with stars. He reflected on the day's events. I'm getting stronger. And I'm building bonds with my rivals. This is what being a ninja is all about, he thought. A sense of fulfillment filling his heart. With Cerberus at his side and the support of his friends, Naruto felt unstoppable. The Chunin exams were far from over, and he was ready to face whatever challenges awaited him, determined to become the hero he was destined to be. A future worth fighting for in the days that followed. Naruto's confidence grew. He trained hard, focusing on mastering his Cerberus abilities while also refining his strategies for the next round of matches. He practiced with his friends, each one pushing him to reach new heights. The final matches of the tournament were just around the corner, and Naruto was eager to showcase everything he had learned. I can't wait to show everyone what I'm capable of, he thought, a fire igniting in his chest. With the support of his friends and the power of Cerberus fueling him, Naruto was ready to face the next challenge head-on. A promise for tomorrow that night. As he lay in bed, he gazed out the window at the stars, each one shining brightly against the dark canvas of the night. I promise to keep training, to keep fighting, and to protect everyone I care about. I will become Hokage, and I'll make Konoha proud. With that promise echoing in his mind, Naruto closed his eyes, ready to face whatever tomorrow would bring. The flames of Cerberus flickered gently, a reminder of the power within him and the journey that lay ahead. As the days of the Chunin exams progressed, Naruto felt a growing sense of anticipation. The excitement of the matches and the possibility of proving himself were exhilarating. But underneath it all lay the awareness of the challenges still to come. With each passing day, he trained harder, determined to master the powers of Cerberus while also sharpening his strategies and techniques. The sun shone brightly over Konoha as he met up with Sakura and Sasuke for their final training session before the semi-finals. Alright, guys. We've worked hard for this. Let's put everything we've learned into practice, Naruto declared, a fiery determination in his voice. Sasuke nodded, his expression serious. Focus on your strengths, Naruto. Your fire techniques are powerful, but you need to use them strategically. Don't let your emotions dictate your actions. And don't forget to mix in some of your new techniques, Sakura added, her voice encouraging. You've come a long way since the start of this tournament. Training together, the trio spent the afternoon honing their skills. Naruto practiced his Cerberus abilities alongside his standard jutsu, demonstrating the fusion of elemental powers and physical agility. Cerberus flame style. Ember burst, he shouted, sending a cascade of small fireballs that lit up the training ground. Sasuke countered with his shuriken, slicing through the flames with precision. Not bad, but try to anticipate my movements next time. Sakura focused on her medical jutsu, ensuring that she could support her friends in battle. Let's make sure we're all prepared for whatever comes next, she urged, her determination clear. As they trained, a bond of camaraderie grew stronger between them. Each compliment, each critique, reinforced their friendship, reminding them why they fought and trained together. The night before the semifinals arrived, and a tense atmosphere filled Konoha. Naruto could feel the excitement and anxiety vibrating in the air. He decided to visit the training ground one last time, wanting to reflect on everything he had achieved. As he arrived, he spotted Rei practicing alone under the moonlight. Her silver hair glowed softly in the night, and her determination was palpable. Intrigued, Naruto approached her. Hey, Rei, mind if I join you? He called out, a friendly smile on his face. She turned, surprised but pleased. Sure, Naruto. I'm just trying to clear my mind before tomorrow. They began practicing together, their movements fluid as they exchanged techniques and strategies. You've really improved since our last match, Rei noted, genuinely impressed. I can see the influence of Cerberus in your style. Thanks. I've been working hard to combine its power with my own abilities, Naruto replied, excitement bubbling inside him. I can't wait for our next matches. It's going to be intense. Rei smirked, her competitive spirit shining through. You're not going to take it easy on me, are you? Naruto shook his head, laughter bubbling up. Not a chance. We're in this to win. A midnight reflection as the night deepened. They took a moment to catch their breath, sitting on the grass and gazing at the stars. You know, Rei began, her voice soft. I've always wanted to be strong, not just for myself, but for my village. The pressure to succeed can be overwhelming. Naruto nodded, understanding her feelings. I know what you mean. I want to be Hokage. But I also want to protect my friends and show everyone that I can be strong. What does being Hokage mean to you? She asked, genuinely curious. Naruto's expression grew serious. It means being someone people can rely on. Someone who can protect them no matter what. I want to show Konoha that I can make a difference. Rei smiled, inspired by his passion. You're going to be a great Hokage, Naruto. Just remember to stay true to yourself. The day of reckoning, the morning of the semifinals dawned, and the excitement in Konoha was electric. Naruto could feel the adrenaline coursing through him as he prepared for the matches ahead. The arena was filled with spectators, all eager to see the best of the best showcase their skills. As Naruto entered the arena, he felt a sense of purpose wash over him. The cheers of the crowd resonated in his ears, and he could see familiar faces, his friends and fellow villagers, all rooting for him. All right, let's do this, he shouted, his voice filled with determination. The announcer's voice boomed across the arena. Welcome to the semifinals of the Chunin exams. The first match will feature Naruto Uzumaki versus Rei Sakino. Naruto stood tall, ready to face his opponent once more. As Rei stepped forward, their eyes locked, and a silent understanding passed between them. They were both determined to win, and neither would hold back. The battle begins. As the match began, Naruto charged forward, igniting his flames. Cerberus flame style. Inferno rush. Rei countered quickly, using her earth techniques to create barriers. Earth wall, she shouted, a protective shield rising to meet his attack. The two techniques collided, creating a shockwave that rippled through the arena. Naruto's flames licked the edges of the earth, but Rei was quick to adapt. She launched rocks at him, each one carefully aimed. You're going to have to do better than that, Naruto taunted, dodging the projectiles with agility. With a grin, he retaliated, Cerberus flame style, feral roar, unleashing a wave of fire that surged toward her. A battle of wits. Rei's eyes narrowed as she quickly formed hand signs. Earth style, rock spike. The ground erupted as spikes shot up to intercept the flames, but Naruto was already moving. He dashed to the side, his feet barely touching the ground as he used the terrain to his advantage. You've got skills, Rei. But I've got Cerberus, he declared, channeling more chakra. Cerberus flame style, fiery grasp. Rei was momentarily caught off guard, but she quickly composed herself. I can't underestimate him, she thought, quickly forming a defensive stance. The flames roared as they approached, but Rei concentrated, channeling her chakra into the ground. Earth style, shield barrier. The barrier formed, and the flames collided with it, causing a spectacular explosion that lit up the arena. The turning point amidst the smoke, Naruto pushed forward, utilizing his agility to evade the remnants of the debris. He could feel the energy of the crowd, their cheers driving him forward. I can't give up. I have to show everyone I'm strong, he thought, determination fueling him. Suddenly, he sensed a shift in the arena. Rei's building up chakra. I need to be careful, he realized. Rei stood tall, her hands raised. Earth style, cataclysm. The ground trembled beneath them as massive boulders erupted from the earth, aimed directly at Naruto. Oh no. Not good, he exclaimed, dodging to the side as the rocks crashed down around him. With quick thinking, he summoned Cerberus. Cerberus, help me. The three-headed guardian emerged, growling with an intensity that resonated with the very earth beneath them. The final showdown with Cerberus's power at his side. Naruto felt invincible. He focused his chakra and combined his will with that of Cerberus. Cerberus flame style. Infernal roar. The three heads unleashed a torrent of flames, countering the rocks and creating a whirlwind of fire and earth. The arena erupted in chaos, and the crowd gasped in awe at the display of power. Rei's eyes widened, realizing the extent of Naruto's abilities. "I won't be beaten so easily," she shouted, channeling her chakra for one last move. The two collided in an explosion of flames and earth, the shockwave sending ripples through the arena. As the smoke began to clear, both fighters stood their ground, panting and battered but refusing to back down. A new understanding in that moment. Naruto and Rei shared a glance of mutual respect. They were both warriors, and their fight had pushed them to their limits. With a final surge of energy, Naruto gathered his remaining strength. "This is it. Cerberus flame style. Ultimate conflagration." Rei responded with a fierce determination. "Earth style. Unbreakable fortress." The two techniques clashed in a dazzling display of power, and for a moment, time seemed to freeze. The aftermath: when the dust settled, the arena was silent. The crowd held its breath, waiting for the outcome. Rei stood, visibly shaken but determined, her hands trembling as she braced herself. But as the smoke cleared, Naruto remained standing, his flames flickering around him. He had pushed himself to the limit, but the power of Cerberus had aided him in this battle. I did it!" he exclaimed, a mixture of disbelief and joy flooding through him. The announcer's voice broke the silence. "The winner of this match is Naruto Uzumaki." Cheers erupted from the crowd, and Naruto felt a wave of relief and excitement wash over him. Rei approached him, a smile breaking through her exhaustion. "You really are incredible, Naruto. That was an amazing fight." "Thanks, Rei. You pushed me to my limits. I can't wait for our next match," he replied, genuine admiration in his voice. Bonds strengthened as Naruto left the arena. He felt a renewed sense of purpose. He had fought not only to win but to prove himself. And he had gained a new friend in the process. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but with Cerberus by his side and the support of his friends, he was ready to face whatever came next. The atmosphere in Konoha buzzed with excitement as Naruto made his way out of the arena. The cheers of the crowd still echoed in his ears, filling him with pride. He had fought fiercely, but he knew this was just the beginning. With the semifinals behind him, the final match awaited, and he was more determined than ever. "Naruto, you did it!" Sakura exclaimed, running up to him, her eyes sparkling with admiration. "That was incredible. You really showed your strength out there." Sasuke added, crossing his arms but unable to hide a smirk. "Thanks, guys. I couldn't have done it without Cerberus and all your support," Naruto replied, his smile wide. "I just need to keep pushing myself." Preparing for the finals as the sun began to set, the village was alive with celebrations. Vendors set up stalls selling food and souvenirs, and families gathered to discuss the exciting matches. Naruto felt a surge of warmth from the community around him. It was moments like these that reminded him of why he fought so hard, to protect the village he loved. That evening, he gathered with his friends at their usual training spot to discuss strategies for the finals. "You'll be facing off against some strong opponents, especially if you reach the final match," Sakura cautioned, her brow furrowing with concern. "You should prepare for anything." "I know. I'll keep training until then," Naruto replied, his determination unshakable. "I want to show everyone that I'm not just the Nine Tails host. I'm more than that." Sasuke nodded in agreement. "Just remember, it's not just about strength. Strategy plays a big role in the finals. Right? I'll make sure to mix up my techniques. Cerberus gives me a lot of versatility," Naruto said, mentally reviewing the abilities he had yet to fully explore. The night before the finals that night, Naruto struggled to sleep, his mind racing with thoughts about the upcoming match. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the day's events in his head. "What if I fail?" he thought, anxiety creeping in. "What if I can't protect my friends? What if I let everyone down?" Suddenly, he felt a comforting presence beside him. Cerberus materialized, the three-headed guardian looking down at him with steady eyes. "Worry not, Naruto. You have already proven yourself in battle. Your strength is not solely measured by victory or defeat, but by your heart and determination." Cerberus spoke, his voice echoing softly in the room. Naruto took a deep breath, calming his racing thoughts. "You're right, Cerberus. I just need to stay true to myself." The final showdown, the day of the finals, dawned bright and clear. As Naruto made his way to the arena, he felt a mix of excitement and nerves. The streets were filled with villagers, all eager to witness the final matches of the Chunin exams. As he entered the arena, the energy was palpable. The cheers of the crowd fueled his confidence, and he could see familiar faces in the stands, his friends, family, and mentors, all rooting for him. "Welcome to the final match of the Chunin exams," the announcer boomed, his voice echoing throughout the arena. "Today, we will witness the incredible Naruto Uzumaki against his final opponent, the mysterious and formidable Kuro Tanaka." Naruto felt a shiver run down his spine. He had heard rumors about Kuro. His skill and abilities were said to be unmatched. "I need to give it everything I have," he thought, determination igniting within him. As Kuro stepped onto the field, the atmosphere shifted. Kuro had a confident demeanor, and his eyes held an intensity that made Naruto's heart race. "You're quite the fighter, Uzumaki," Kuro said with a smirk. "Let's see if you can keep up." The battle begins. As the match began, Naruto wasted no time. "Cerberus flame style. Blaze charge," he shouted, launching himself at Kuro with a burst of fiery energy. Kuro swiftly dodged, his movements fluid and precise. "You're fast, but speed alone won't win this match," he taunted, countering with a series of wind blades that sliced through the air. Naruto reacted instinctively, summoning Cerberus to shield him. "Cerberus, protect me." The three-headed guardian emerged, creating a barrier of fire that incinerated the wind blades. "Impressive," Kuro acknowledged, a hint of respect in his voice. "But let's see how you handle this." With a swift motion, Kuro unleashed a torrent of water, forming a massive wave that surged toward Naruto. "The clash of elements, not today," Naruto exclaimed, channeling his chakra. "Cerberus flame style. Inferno barrier." The flames roared to life, meeting the wave head-on, creating a massive steam explosion that engulfed the arena in a cloud of mist. As the steam cleared, Naruto focused, his senses heightened. "I can't let him outmaneuver me. I have to anticipate his moves." Kuro smirked, clearly enjoying the battle. "You're strong, but you need to think faster." He charged forward, ready to strike. A moment of clarity. In that moment, something clicked for Naruto. He remembered the bond he shared with Cerberus and how their powers complemented each other. "I need to combine our strengths," he thought, determination surging through him. "Cerberus, let's show him our true power," Naruto shouted, focusing his chakra. The three heads of Cerberus glowed, flames swirling around them. "Cerberus flame style. Triad Inferno." Fire erupted in a magnificent display as Naruto unleashed a barrage of flames, each one aimed with precision. Kuro's eyes widened in surprise, but he quickly countered with his own wind technique. Wind style. Tornado vortex. The two techniques collided, creating a swirling maelstrom of fire and wind. The decisive moment as the battle raged on. Naruto felt the strain of the fight, but he refused to back down. "I won't lose. Not now," he thought, summoning every ounce of strength he had. "This is it," he declared. "Cerberus, lend me your power." With renewed vigor, he unleashed the full might of Cerberus, the flames exploding with ferocity as he focused all his energy into one final attack. Cerberus flame style. Cataclysmic Inferno. The fire surged forward, engulfing everything in its path. Kuro barely had time to react as the flames consumed the arena. The final blow in a desperate attempt to counter, Kuro formed a protective barrier of wind, but it faltered against the intensity of Naruto's attack. "No, I can't lose," he shouted, desperation in his voice. But it was too late. The flames engulfed Kuro, and with a blinding flash, the arena erupted in light. The aftermath. When the dust settled, the arena was silent. Naruto stood amidst the remnants of their battle, panting heavily. Did I win?" he wondered, a mixture of exhaustion and disbelief washing over him. The announcer's voice broke the silence. The winner of the final match is Naruto Uzumaki. Cheers erupted from the crowd, filling the air with excitement. Naruto felt a surge of joy as he realized he had accomplished his goal. As he looked around, he spotted his friends in the stands, their faces beaming with pride. A new beginning. Kuro rose slowly, clearly exhausted but with a newfound respect for Naruto. You fought well, Uzumaki. I didn't expect you to push me to my limits. Naruto grinned, extending his hand. Thanks, Kuro. You're an amazing opponent. Let's train together sometime. Kuro smirked, accepting the gesture. I'd like that. As Naruto left the arena, he felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. He had fought not just for victory but for the bonds he had forged and the strength he had gained. With Cerberus by his side, he knew that the journey ahead would be filled with even greater challenges, but he was ready to face them head-on. The celebrations following the Chunin exams were grander than Naruto had ever imagined. The streets of Konoha were alive with festivity, with decorations strung between buildings and vendors showcasing an array of delicious treats. The village was united in their pride for Naruto's victory, and he felt a deep sense of belonging. As he walked through the village, his friends surrounded him. Sakura and Sasuke were at his side, their smiles wide and genuine. You really showed everyone what you're made of, Sakura exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. I knew you could do it. That was an impressive display of skill. Naruto, you've come a long way since we started training together, Sasuke added, his tone more sincere than usual. Thanks. Guys, I couldn't have done it without your support, Naruto replied, his heart swelling with gratitude. The village elders organized a feast in Naruto's honor at the Hokage's office. As they entered the building, the aroma of delicious food wafted through the air. Long tables were laden with dishes ranging from steaming ramen to roasted meats and fresh vegetables. Tsunade, the fifth Hokage, stood at the front, raising her glass to address the gathered crowd. Let's raise our glasses to our hero, Naruto Uzumaki. His hard work and determination have brought us all together. Everyone cheered, raising their glasses in unison. To Naruto, feeling the warmth of the moment, Naruto stood tall, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. He had worked hard for this, and it was finally paying off. The conversation with Tsunade after the initial celebrations. Tsunade approached Naruto, her expression serious yet warm. Naruto, you've shown great promise in these exams. But with that power comes responsibility. Naruto nodded, understanding the weight of her words. I know, Lady Tsunade. I'll use my abilities to protect the village and my friends. Good. I want you to continue training and growing stronger. We'll need you prepared for the challenges ahead, she replied, her voice firm. Naruto's mind raced with thoughts of the future. He had come so far, but he knew there were still threats looming in the shadows. I won't let you down, Lady Tsunade. I'll train harder than ever. Bonds with friends. As the feast continued, Naruto enjoyed the company of his friends. They shared stories, laughter, and even some friendly teasing. I can't believe you managed to beat Kuro. I thought you were going to lose for sure, Sakura joked, nudging Naruto playfully. Huh? I knew he didn't stand a chance against me and Cerberus, Naruto replied confidently, making a pose that earned him a few chuckles. Sasuke leaned back in his chair, a smirk on his face. Just don't let it get to your head. You still have a long way to go. Naruto shrugged playfully. I know, but I can't help feeling great about this. The unexpected visitor. As the night progressed, the atmosphere was suddenly interrupted by a loud crash from outside. The door to the Hokage office swung open, revealing a figure clad in a dark cloak. I have come for the 9 tails, the figure announced, their voice echoing ominously through the room. Everyone fell silent, and a tense air filled the space. Naruto felt his heart race. What do you want with the 9 tails? He demanded, stepping forward. The figure revealed their face, a sinister grin spreading across their lips. You think your victory today means anything? You're merely a pawn in a much larger game. The threat unveiled. Sensing the danger, Tsunade stepped forward, her expression fierce. Who are you? And what do you want? The figure chuckled darkly. I am but a messenger. There are forces at work that you cannot comprehend. The power of the tailed beasts will be mine, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. Naruto clenched his fists, anger boiling within him. You won't get near the nine tails. I won't let you. The figure's smile widened. Your defiance is amusing. But you'll soon learn that you're outmatched. This is just the beginning. With that, the figure vanished in a swirl of smoke, leaving the room in stunned silence. The aftermath, the tension in the room was palpable. Tsunade turned to Naruto, her expression grave. We need to be vigilant. This could be a sign of something much larger. Naruto felt a knot tighten in his stomach. He had just tasted victory, and now a new threat loomed over them. I'll train harder than ever. I won't let anything happen to Konoha or my friends. Good. We'll need to gather more intelligence on this threat, Tsunade replied. For now, focus on your training. The next challenge may come sooner than you expect. A determined heart as the night wore on. Naruto found himself staring out at the moonlit village, determination burning in his heart. No matter what happens, I won't back down, he promised silently. With Cerberus by my side, I'll protect everyone. I won't let anyone take my power away. Feeling a surge of energy, he turned back to his friends, who were deep in discussion about the recent events. Hey, let's keep training together. We need to be ready for whatever comes next, he called out, a fierce resolve in his voice. Sakura and Sasuke nodded, their expressions matching his determination. Right? We can't let our guard down. Sakura agreed. I'm in, Sasuke added, a serious look in his eyes. Strength and unity with their spirits lifted and resolve strengthened. Naruto and his friends left the Hokage office, ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. They knew the path ahead would be filled with danger, but they were prepared to stand together. As they trained in the coming days, Naruto felt the bond between them grow stronger. He was not just a host for the Nine Tails. He was part of a family, a team that would support each other through thick and thin. The days following the Chunin exams were filled with intense training and preparation. Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke dedicated themselves to honing their skills, aware that a new threat loomed over Konoha. The previous encounter had ignited a fire within Naruto, pushing him to delve deeper into his bond with Cerberus and explore the full extent of their powers. The training ground. They met at their usual training ground, a secluded area surrounded by tall trees and a clear stream. The sounds of nature provided a calming backdrop as they began their rigorous training routine. Let's focus on teamwork today, Naruto suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. If we're going to face whatever's coming, we need to work together seamlessly. Sakura nodded, determination in her eyes. I can work on my medical ninjutsu while providing support. We can coordinate our attacks. I'll handle the offensive, Sasuke chimed in, his confidence evident. With my Sharingan, I can analyze the enemy's movements and anticipate their actions. Channeling Cerberus, Naruto took a deep breath, feeling Cerberus' presence within him. All right, Cerberus, let's show them what we can do. As he channeled chakra, flames erupted around him, and Cerberus materialized in a brilliant display of fire. The three-headed guardian growled protectively, ready for action. With Cerberus by my side, I can tap into elemental techniques and summon powerful attacks, Naruto explained, looking at his friends. Let's do some practice drills. Practice drills. They spent the morning running through various drills, alternating between offense and defense. Naruto utilized Cerberus' abilities to create walls of flame and barriers to protect his friends, while Sasuke demonstrated his quick reflexes, dodging attacks and countering with precision. Sakura worked tirelessly to enhance her chakra control and healing techniques, ensuring she could support her friends in battle. All right, let's try a coordinated attack, Naruto called out. Sasuke, you start with your fireball jutsu. Sakura, use your healing technique to prepare for any injuries. I'll follow up with a Cerberus attack. Sasuke nodded, preparing his hand signs. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. A massive fireball erupted from his mouth, flying toward a nearby target. As the flames roared, Sakura focused her chakra, ready to assist if needed. Now, Naruto. Cerberus flame style. Triad Inferno. Naruto shouted, summoning Cerberus as the three heads unleashed a torrent of flames that intertwined with Sasuke's fireball, creating a massive explosion that lit up the clearing. The blast sent shockwaves through the area, and the smoke cleared to reveal their target charred and smoldering. A moment of reflection after the drills. The three friends took a break, panting and drinking water. They reflected on their progress and the challenges they faced. We're getting better. But we need to stay sharp, Naruto said, wiping sweat from his forehead. That attack was powerful. But we can't get complacent. Agreed. Sasuke replied, his gaze focused. We can't predict how strong the enemy will be. We have to prepare for anything. Sakura nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. We should also think about strategies for different scenarios. What if we face multiple enemies at once? The strategizing session gathering their thoughts. They began to brainstorm strategies for potential battles. Naruto sketched out ideas in the dirt with a stick, illustrating different formations and attack patterns. What if we use distraction techniques? Naruto proposed. I can create shadow clones to draw their attention, while you guys can flank from the sides. Sasuke considered this. That could work. But we'll need to ensure our timing is perfect. If the clones go down too quickly, we risk exposing ourselves. Sakura interjected. And I can prepare healing smoke bombs. If any of us get injured, I can use them to heal us quickly while we regroup. Naruto grinned, feeling invigorated by their ideas. That's perfect. We're going to be unstoppable. The night watch as the sun set. They decided to set up a watch schedule. Knowing they couldn't afford to let their guard down, they each took turns keeping an eye out for any unusual activity in the village. While on watch, Naruto felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He looked at the stars shining brightly above and thought of the threats lurking in the shadows. I won't let anything happen to my friends. He vowed silently. The looming threat days turned into weeks, and the village remained peaceful. But the tension lingered. Rumors of a dark organization seeking the tailed beasts began to spread among the villagers. Naruto and his friends continued their training, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. We can't underestimate this enemy, Naruto reminded his friends during one of their training sessions. We need to stay united and trust in each other's abilities. Right. No matter what happens, we face it together. Sasuke agreed, his expression serious. And we'll protect Konoha at all costs. Sakura added, her voice firm. An unexpected visitor one evening. As they wrapped up their training, a figure approached them from the shadows. It was Shikamaru, looking as composed as ever despite the seriousness of the situation. Hey, guys. I've heard some concerning reports. There have been sightings of strange figures near the outskirts of the village, he said, his brow furrowed in thought. Strange figures? Naruto repeated, feeling his heart race. Do you think it's them? It's possible. I'm gathering a group to investigate. We could use your help, Shikamaru replied. We're in. We can't let anything threaten our home, Naruto declared, determination shining in his eyes. The investigation team, the four of them quickly gathered a team, including Hinata, Choji, and Ino. As they prepared to leave the village, Naruto felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. Stay alert, Shikamaru warned the group as they set out. We don't know what we're up against. Naruto nodded, gripping the hilt of his kunai tightly. Let's show them what we're made of. The journey as they journeyed toward the outskirts of the village. The air grew tense, and the forest felt ominous. Naruto could feel Cerberus stirring within him, sensing the danger that lay ahead. We need to be ready for anything, he whispered to himself, focusing on the bond he shared with Cerberus. They reached the area where the sightings were reported, and Shikamaru gestured for everyone to spread out and search. The confrontation suddenly. A chilling laugh echoed through the trees. So, the little heroes have come to play. A dark figure emerged from the shadows, flanked by others clad in black cloaks. Naruto's heart raced as he recognized the aura of malice emanating from them. Who are you? What do you want? He demanded. The figure stepped forward, revealing a twisted grin. I am Kato. And I am here for the 9 tails. Your power will be mine. The fight begins. Naruto felt anger surge within him. You'll have to get through me first, he shouted, channeling Cerberus energy. Let's show them the strength of Konoha, Shikamaru commanded, and the group readied themselves for battle. As Naruto prepared to fight, he knew that this confrontation would test everything he had learned. He glanced at his friends, seeing their determination reflected in their eyes. "Together!" he shouted. And with that, they charged into battle, ready to protect their home at all costs. The moment the confrontation began, the air crackled with tension. Kato's sinister grin sent shivers down Naruto's spine, but he quickly pushed the fear aside, focusing instead on the resolve of his friends around him. "Stay sharp. We'll divide our targets," Shikamaru commanded, his voice steady amidst the chaos. "I'll handle the one on the left," Sakura shouted, charging forward with a kunai in hand. "Sasuke, cover me." "Got it." Fire style. Phoenix Fire Jutsu. Sasuke unleashed a barrage of fireballs toward Kato's allies, forcing them to scatter. Naruto's charged with a quick glance at his friends. Naruto felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. "Cerberus. Let's show them our strength," he called out, summoning the three-headed guardian beside him. "Cerberus. Flame style. Triple howl." The three heads of Cerberus opened their mouths wide, unleashing a fiery shockwave that engulfed Kato's minions. The flames roared like a wild beast, scattering their enemies in every direction. "Impressive." Kato laughed, dodging the flames with ease. "But it will take more than fire to stop me." Kato's eyes narrowed, and he swiftly formed hand signs. Shadow binding jutsu. Dark tendrils shot from the ground, snaking toward Naruto and his friends. "Watch out," Shikamaru shouted, expertly dodging to the side. But the tendrils wrapped around the legs of one of the other villagers, holding them in place. "Sakura, help them," Naruto yelled, focusing on the nearest enemy. "On it," Sakura replied, her hands weaving through the necessary hand signs. Mystical palm technique. Her chakra flowed toward the captured villager, dispelling the bindings. A moment of teamwork. Meanwhile, Sasuke was engaging another enemy, using his Sharingan to anticipate their movements. He dodged a kunai aimed at him, countering with a swift kick that sent the enemy tumbling to the ground. "Nice work, Sasuke," Naruto called out, feeling the energy of their teamwork. "Don't get too cocky," Sasuke replied, dodging another attack. As the chaos unfolded, Naruto's eyes landed on Kato, who stood smugly, watching the battle unfold. "You think you can defeat me so easily?" Kato taunted. "I've dealt with worse than you." The counterattack fueled by determination. Naruto focused on Kato, ready to unleash Cerberus' full power. "You won't take the 9 tails from me." With a fierce battle cry, Naruto summoned the flames of Cerberus again, combining them with his own chakra. Cerberus. Inferno Vortex. A swirling mass of fire erupted from Cerberus, engulfing Kato in a tempest of flames. "What?" Kato exclaimed, trying to shield himself from the onslaught. But the flames continued to surge, scorching everything in their path. The turning point as the flames subsided, Naruto saw Kato stagger back, his confidence shaken. "This isn't over," Kato shouted, his voice strained. But before he could recover, Sakura rushed in, her kunai poised for attack. "Now, Sasuke." "Got it." Sasuke launched another fireball at Kato, who barely managed to evade the blow. An unforeseen danger just as Naruto felt the tide turning in their favor. A sudden shift in the atmosphere caught his attention. Another figure emerged from the shadows, cloaked in darkness. "You're all fools for challenging us," the new figure sneered, stepping forward with an aura of menace. "I am Zira, and you'll regret crossing our path." The battle intensified as Naruto's heart raced as Zira raised a hand, summoning dark energy. "Prepare to meet your end." With a flick of Zira's wrist, shadows enveloped the battlefield, trapping Naruto and his friends in a web of darkness. "This is bad," Naruto shouted, trying to break free. "Sakura, Sasuke, can you?" But before he could finish, Zira unleashed a wave of dark energy, sending it crashing toward them. "Protect each other," Shikamaru shouted, and they quickly formed a protective circle, team formation as the dark energy surged toward them. Naruto felt Cerberus' power pulsing within him. "Now's our chance," he cried out, channeling the chakra of the three-headed guardian. "Cerberus, let's counter," he shouted, focusing his energy. "Cerberus. Triad shield." The three heads of Cerberus barked in unison, creating a barrier of flames that clashed against Zera's dark energy, creating a massive explosion that illuminated the night. A brief respite as the smoke cleared. Naruto and his friends stood, breathing heavily, but they had successfully held their ground. "Is everyone okay?" Naruto asked, scanning the group. Sakura nodded. "I'm fine. But we need to regroup. We can't let them separate us. We'll handle Zera together." Sasuke agreed, his eyes focused and ready. The final stand. Zera stepped forward, anger radiating from him. "You think you can defeat me? You're just a bunch of kids playing at being ninjas." Naruto clenched his fists, determination burning bright. "We're not just kids. We're going to protect our home. Prepare yourselves." Zera roared, summoning more dark energy. As the battle continued, Naruto felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. They were up against formidable opponents, but he knew they had each other's backs. The clash of powers with a fierce battle cry. Naruto charged forward, flames bursting around him as he called upon Cerberus' strength. "Let's do this." Sasuke and Sakura flanked him, ready to back him up. "We'll finish this together." As the clash of powers intensified, Naruto focused on the bonds he shared with his friends, feeling the warmth of their camaraderie propelling him forward. The power of unity in that moment. He understood that their true strength lay not just in their individual powers, but in their unity. Together, they were a force to be reckoned with. As they prepared for the final confrontation, the resolve in their hearts burned brighter than any fire. They would protect each other, protect Konoha, and face whatever darkness threatened their world. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura surged forward, the battlefield erupted with energy. Zera, the dark figure with an aura of menace, channeled more dark energy, preparing for an onslaught against the trio. "You think you can defeat me with sheer willpower?" Zera laughed, the shadows swirling around him like a living entity. "I'll show you the true meaning of despair." With a swift motion, he sent tendrils of dark energy snaking toward them, aiming to ensnare and crush. Naruto felt the ground tremble beneath him as he prepared to counter. "Cerberus, we need to break through that darkness," he shouted, channeling his chakra and focusing on the three-headed guardian at his side. Flame style. Inferno burst. The flames erupted from Cerberus, illuminating the darkened field as they collided with Zera's tendrils, resulting in a blinding explosion of light and darkness. Coordination in chaos. "Sasuke, now!" Naruto yelled, spotting an opening as Zera staggered back from the blast. Sasuke took the opportunity, weaving through hand signs with precision. Chidori. A blue lightning bolt crackled to life in his hand, and he shot forward, aiming for Zera's exposed flank. Zera barely managed to dodge, but the sheer force of Sasuke's attack sent shockwaves through the ground. "You're faster than I expected," he hissed, recovering quickly. Meanwhile, Sakura moved in, ready to support her friends. "Let me help," she called, forming her own hand signs. Cherry blossom impact. Petals formed a whirlwind around her as she charged toward Zera, launching herself into the fray with grace and power. The fight intensifies as Sakura unleashed her attack. Zera found himself on the defensive, parrying blows and dodging while attempting to maintain control over the dark energy that swirled around him. "You think you can overwhelm me with numbers?" Zera snarled, frustration creeping into his voice. "It's not just about numbers," Naruto shouted back, feeling the heat of the flames building within him. "It's about teamwork." With renewed determination, Naruto summoned Cerberus' full might. "Cerberus, let's create the ultimate barrier." Cerberus. Infernal wall. The three-headed guardian responded, creating a massive wall of flame that shielded Naruto and his friends from Zera's dark energy blasts, forcing the enemy back. A flicker of hope. The wall of flames held for a moment, giving them a brief respite. "We can't let him regain control," Sakura panted, wiping sweat from her brow. "Agreed," Sasuke replied, eyes scanning the battlefield for weaknesses. "If we can separate him from his source of power, we might have a chance. Let's go for it," Naruto exclaimed, adrenaline pumping through his veins. "Sasuke, create a diversion while I distract him with Cerberus." "The diversion, right?" Sasuke nodded, quickly retreating to a distance where he could observe Zira. Fire style. Great fireball jutsu. The massive fireball soared through the air, crashing into the ground near Zira, creating a plume of smoke and confusion. The flank attack as Zira turned to counter Sasuke's attack. Naruto seized the moment. Now! Cerberus. Triad Blitz. The three-headed guardian charged at Zira, flames licking at the ground as it rushed forward. Zira, momentarily distracted, attempted to retaliate with shadow tendrils. But Cerberus was too fast. What? Zira barely had time to react as Cerberus closed the distance, launching an explosive attack. The unleashing of power with a synchronized roar. The three heads unleashed a torrent of flames, engulfing Zira in an inferno. No? This can't be happening. Zira screamed, struggling against the fire that threatened to consume him. The sheer intensity of the flames illuminated the battlefield, casting long shadows and creating a surreal atmosphere. The turning point. Naruto could feel the power coursing through him, the bond with Cerberus strengthening. This ends now, he shouted, summoning every ounce of energy he had. As the flames died down, Zira stumbled back, his dark energy flickering as he fought to stay upright. You may have power, he spat, but you cannot hope to defeat the darkness that resides in me. A sudden revelation at that moment. A thought struck Naruto. He recalled the whispers of the villagers and the tales of dark powers. What if we could turn his own power against him? He suggested, looking at his friends. How do we do that? Sakura asked, panting. If we can draw out his shadows and isolate them, we might be able to weaken him. Naruto exclaimed, a plan forming in his mind. The teamwork plan. We'll need to keep him distracted while we execute the plan. Sasuke said, already thinking ahead. I can create shadow clones to confuse him. Then I'll focus on healing you both if things go south. Sakura added. Alright. Let's do this. Together. Naruto affirmed, feeling a surge of confidence. The final push as the trio coordinated their attack. Sasuke created a barrage of shadow clones, each one mimicking his movements to confuse Zira. This is it. Naruto shouted, readying Cerberus for the final strike. Cerberus, let's trap him. The trap is set with a synchronized effort. The clones engaged Zira, drawing his attention in multiple directions. Fools! Zira roared, attempting to lash out at the clones. But the real Sasuke slipped behind him, charging a Chidori. Chidori. Sasuke struck true, hitting Zira and momentarily staggering him. The energy drain. Seizing the opportunity, Naruto called forth Cerberus once more. Cerberus. Dark energy absorption. The three-headed guardian opened its mouths wide, drawing in the dark energy that surrounded Zira, absorbing the shadows into its fiery core. No! Stop! Zira screamed, feeling the drain of his power. The climactic moment with the shadows contained. Zira's strength began to wane. Now! Finish him! Naruto commanded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Together. Sasuke and Sakura shouted in unison. The three of them surged forward, channeling their chakra into a final, combined attack. The ultimate strike, for Konoha. They all shouted, their voices blending together as they released their combined energy. The explosion of power surged toward Zira, engulfing him in a brilliant light as he was overwhelmed by their united strength. The aftermath. As the dust settled, silence fell over the battlefield. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura stood together, panting heavily but triumphant. Did we do it? Sakura asked, her eyes wide with disbelief. I think we did, Naruto replied, looking at the remnants of the dark energy dissipating into the air. A moment of reflection. Relief washed over them, and they exchanged exhausted smiles. That was close, Sasuke said, rubbing the back of his neck. But we pulled through. Thanks to teamwork, Naruto added, his heart swelling with pride. We should head back and inform everyone, Sakura suggested, glancing around to ensure no other threats lurked nearby. Heading home. As they made their way back to the village, the trio felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had faced darkness and emerged stronger, their bonds deepening in the face of adversity. What do you think will happen now? Naruto pondered aloud, glancing at the sky. We'll be ready for whatever comes next. Sasuke replied, his voice steady. Yeah. We're a team. Sakura affirmed, determination shining in her eyes. The promise of tomorrow as they entered Konoha. A sense of peace enveloped them. But they knew the journey was far from over. Naruto glanced at his friends, grateful for their unwavering support. Together, we can face anything. With that promise echoing in his heart, they stepped forward into the future, ready to protect their village and each other. As Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura approached the village gates of Konoha, the familiar sights and sounds brought a wave of comfort over them. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the rooftops and streets bustling with villagers. I can't believe we actually did it, Sakura said, still feeling the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Zero is stronger than I expected. We made a great team, Naruto replied, grinning widely. Thanks to Cerberus, we had an edge. Sasuke remained thoughtful, his brow furrowed slightly as he considered the implications of their battle. We should report back to Tsunade. There might be more like him out there. The briefing as they entered the Hokage Tower. The atmosphere shifted from the exhilaration of victory to a more serious tone. Tsunade was seated at her desk, her eyes narrowing as they approached. "You'd three look worse for wear," she remarked, glancing up from her paperwork. "What happened out there?" "We encountered a rogue with dark energy named Zira," Naruto explained, his voice steady. "He was incredibly powerful, but we managed to defeat him." Tsunade's expression shifted to concern. "A rogue ninja using dark energy. That's troubling. What do we know about his abilities?" "He could manipulate shadows and drain energy," Sasuke said, crossing his arms. "If there are others like him, we need to be prepared." "We also noticed that he was not acting alone," Sakura added, her brow furrowed. "He mentioned something about a greater power controlling him." Tsunade's eyes widened, and she leaned forward. "This changes things. We need to gather intel on any rogue groups in the region." An unexpected visitor just then. The door swung open, and Shikamaru sauntered in, his usual laid-back demeanor slightly shaken. "I heard you guys took down a big shot. Is it true?" Naruto nodded, eager to share their story. "Yeah. It was a tough battle, but we worked together." Shikamaru raised an eyebrow. "So you managed to handle a rogue ninja? That's impressive. What's got you all riled up?" Sasuke asked, sensing a hint of urgency in Shikamaru's tone. "I just got word that strange activities have been reported in the outskirts of the village," Shikamaru replied, his expression growing serious. "There are rumors of a gathering of rogue ninjas. It's like they're coming out of the woodwork," Sakura muttered. "What do they want?" "That's what we need to find out," Tsunade said, her voice commanding. "Shikamaru, gather the Jonin and form a task force. We need to investigate these reports." Planning the mission, Shikamaru nodded, already pulling out his notebook. "We'll need to split up into teams to cover more ground. Naruto, you're with Sakura and Sasuke. What about you?" Naruto asked, his enthusiasm dimming slightly. "I'll coordinate from here and keep track of any intel we gather," Shikamaru replied. "It's not going to be easy. If these rogue ninjas are anything like Zira, we need to be prepared for anything. We can handle it," Naruto declared, his confidence returning. "With Cerberus by my side, we'll be unstoppable. Just don't get cocky," Sasuke warned, though a small smirk tugged at the corner of his mouth. The training grounds later that afternoon, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura gathered at the training grounds to prepare for the mission. Naruto could feel the energy pulsing through him, a mixture of excitement and determination. "We should work on our teamwork again," Sakura suggested, stretching her arms. "We can't rely solely on our individual skills." "Agreed," Sasuke replied. "If we face multiple foes, we need to be able to coordinate our attacks seamlessly." The Cerberus connection. Naruto summoned Cerberus, the three-headed guardian appearing beside him with an imposing presence. "Let's see how well we can integrate Cerberus into our strategies," Naruto said, focusing on the connection they shared. "Cerberus, can you help us create barriers and distractions?" "Of course, young master," Cerberus replied, its voice is harmonious yet powerful. "My flames can create diversions and shields as needed." Training begins. They started their training with a series of drills, practicing combinations of jutsus and movements. Sakura, you cover me while I create a flame wall, Naruto instructed. Got it, she replied, her determination shining through. As Naruto unleashed the flames, Sakura quickly formed a protective barrier around them, ensuring they were shielded from the heat. Now Sasuke, Naruto called out, signaling for his teammate to strike. Sasuke unleashed a lightning-infused kunai, throwing it directly through the flame wall, creating an impressive explosion of light and energy. Perfecting the teamwork, nice work. Sakura cheered, and they quickly regrouped for another round. They continued to practice, building their synergy and refining their strategies. Hours passed, and as they concluded their session, they were exhausted but exhilarated. We've improved a lot, Naruto said, wiping the sweat from his brow. I can't wait to see how we perform on the mission. Just remember to stay focused, Sasuke reminded him. We can't underestimate our opponents. The night before the mission as night fell, Naruto returned home, his thoughts racing. He felt the weight of their upcoming mission pressing down on him. But he also felt an overwhelming sense of hope. With Cerberus and my friends by my side, I can do anything, he muttered to himself, the warmth of the guardian filling him with courage. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thoughts of Zira and the rogue ninjas swirling in his mind. Whatever comes next, I won't back down, he vowed silently, determination settling in his heart. The next day, mission time. The next morning, Naruto met with Sasuke and Sakura at the village gates. They were greeted by Shikamaru, who briefed them on their mission. We'll head toward the outskirts of the village, Shikamaru explained, looking serious. Keep your guard up. We don't know what we're dealing with. Naruto nodded, his resolve solidified. Let's show them what we're made of, he declared, his voice echoing with confidence. Setting out. As they set out, the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a golden light over Konoha. The trio moved with purpose, each step echoing their determination. If we find these rogue ninjas, we'll make sure they can't threaten our village again, Sakura said, her fists clenched in determination. Sasuke nodded, eyes scanning the surroundings for any signs of trouble. Stay vigilant. Into the unknown. As they ventured deeper into the woods surrounding Konoha, the atmosphere shifted. The air grew heavy, and an unsettling silence enveloped them. Something doesn't feel right, Naruto murmured, glancing at his friends. Suddenly, the stillness was shattered by a low growl, echoing through the trees. What was that? Sakura asked, her eyes wide. Prepare for anything, Sasuke warned, eyes narrowing. The encounter. From the shadows emerged several figures, cloaked in darkness. Their eyes glinted with malice, and a chilling laugh filled the air. Well, what do we have here? One of them taunted, stepping forward. A trio of young shinobi come to play. Naruto felt a surge of anger. Who are you? He shouted, standing tall. What do you want? The figure smirked, his presence exuding darkness. We are the ones who will bring Konoha to its knees. And you three? You're nothing but a minor inconvenience. The stage is set as the rogue ninja advanced. Naruto felt Cerberus stir beside him, its heads growling in anticipation. Let's show them what we can do, Naruto shouted, feeling the rush of adrenaline. With his friends by his side and the power of Cerberus at his command, Naruto was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.